noticed.
Weird clouds up there.
Talked about my friend Peter.
Weird clouds. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order, welcome to Hapanwo TV. I'm with some guys you're familiar with, especially if you watched the Scottish UFO Paranormal Conference last year. You may recognise him, it's Tino here. And there's Larry, some good friends of mine there. And here we are. Yeah.
Sunglasses.
It's the same team back together again. And we're off to do something very, very interesting. We're going to Rendlesham Forest, yes. The place where in 1980 there was a big UFO event. And we're going to have a really, really good time. We have here the principal witness to that event, Larry Warren.
You know, like it or not.
Yes, Larry Warren. Despite many vocal claims to the contrary,
many more say those claims are ridiculous.
They are ridiculous. But this guy is the principal witness to that event, and we're going to go to this little area where Larry lived for a short but very fateful time of his life, in Suffolk. And Larry is going to show us around, and so this is going to be a kind of like a bit of an antidote to the Colonel Holt thing like in 2015, and should be fun. I hope you enjoy it. So that's where we're heading right now. It's a slightly shorter journey than the one we did to Glasgow, but we're going to have
exciting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
what a great time in Glasgow.
Oh, that was fun, wasn't it? Yeah, that was fun.
Every inch of it.
Yeah. Check out in my catalogue, ladies and gentlemen, the Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference. That was a nice weekend, almost a year ago. Doesn't time fly? Almost a year ago.
It flew, it flees.
Yeah, but we're now heading for Suffolk and Rendlesham Forest and the basis of Bentwaters Woodbridge. And I've been there a couple of times, and I'm going back. And the weather, despite claims to the contrary in the forecast, is beautiful. Yes, it looks like the gods of ufology, if they exist, are smiling on us. So come with us. Hope you enjoy it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to show you where we're going to head today. As always, I'm using my Ordnance Survey Land Ranger maps. Unfortunately, I'm going to need two of them because the area we're going to go to is right on the edge of the border between two maps. So I've got Land Ranger, Ordnance Survey Land Ranger, plate 169 and plate 156. The reason is because here's the gap between the two. Now, just forget all this white bit in between. Imagine these are sort of like closed up together. But basically, we're going to start off here with Larry at the Bentwaters Airfield, formerly the Bentwaters RAF Bentwaters, the US Air Force Base. There you see the green part underneath is Rendlesham Forest, and we're going to retrace Larry's steps as he, on the night in question, where he takes the back road here down to Woodbridge Base. And now, I've been through this before with you on the previous video, but there's Eastgate just there. And it's this area to the east of Woodbridge is where the action took place, especially here at Capel Green, this field here, and I've actually marked it there, LW, for Larry Warren. And we're going to be having a look around in this area here, so do come with us. And to orientate yourself, there's Woodbridge there, and there's Ipswich, and we'll be exploring a few things in this very beautiful part of the country.
What a cool day. Thanks to you. I'm glad and happy to do this. Oh yeah, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
We're in Woodbridge, ladies and gentlemen. We've made it. So what are we going to look at first? Where are we going to head first, guys?
Cup of coffee.
Any ideas? Cup of coffee.
Because I was sleeping.
Cup of coffee for these guys. Yeah.
Coffee. You need coffee here.
I used to like the cup, but I got to waff him. Right, so we're heading for the town centre of Woodbridge, and then we're going to start navigating our way to the interesting bits. Now this pub here, what's it called, Larry?
The Wilford.
The Wilford Bridge. Now this was Colonel Holt this was his local. He used to drop in here for a beer every so often with him. Yeah. So was this a sort of upmarket place where the officers used to go?
The prices are high. It's a good place. Burroughs and me ate there, and when we did the last one over here, and I shot some. I filmed something here once, and we all ate there too.
Oh, cool.
But they paid for it. Even better.
Oh, nice one. Yeah. Now let's see. Here is
That's
the
for RAF Woodbridge.
MOD
Woodbridge.
Yeah. It's a deactivated database, but it's still there, and a lot of it's
It's special forces.
Well, it's they do. Well,
you got a bear.
Probably some of it's, probably a lot of it's classified still, but we are actually going to. Larry's going to show us some of the places where we're going. Yeah.
Can you just stay on this because this is.
Look at this car! Wow, look at that! You don't see many of these. You don't see many cars like this these days. What brand? What make is this? Isn't that a beauty? That's an absolute beauty. That's a vintage Wolseley.
Absolutely. It was no joke.
Yeah.
I even knew it.
Beautiful car. Anyway, we are at the pub called The Unruly Pig.
And when Holt makes me.
The Unruly Pig. What a name.
Oh, no.
Hey, Larry.
I walked around very heavy fucking weapons.
Larry, this pub called The Unruly Pig, are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar.
You've been here before, haven't you?
I've been to it was the cherry tree.
The cherry tree. Oh.
I left at Eastgate, and I was here at my incident that night. We got dumped, and we had to stop here for a coke. And it looks very different than what it was.
Yeah.
Almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's a shame. We've been inside it, and they're doing this to all the bloody pubs are getting redesigned and renamed. It really annoys me.
Too clean and fancy.
Yeah.
You know.
But you stopped off in here on your way to the guard mount, and
to go back to the base.
Yeah.
And my stuff. Yeah.
And it's just the night of your event and stuff like that.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
In fact,
cool.
the only time in my service here, and I did serve, folks, was stopped in here with two buddies, and because our bus stopped down there, and I'm like, wait a minute, we got like a mile and a half to walk.
Yeah, so you know.
And but you know, even the roads are a little different. I think they've restructured.
Yeah.
But none of this was landscaped like it was, and it was just this place to stop in. You know, it's very famous in the left at Eastgate.
Exactly. I remember it from the left at Eastgate.
It's not really relevant to the incidents, but it's relevant to me because it was something I solidly experienced that night.
Yeah. But we went in there, and you said there used to be a pool table over here.
There was a snooker table in the back.
Yeah. And now it's like it's all been sort of like corporatized, like so many pubs have.
This is where a lot of these are country people around here, and back then, it was, you know, frankly, there's not a lot to do around here except, you know, milk a cow or whatever they do. So the kids, the young people, would come and shoot stick and have a pint or whatever they did. But I'll tell you, young Yanks, we had everything we needed on the base.
Yeah, Jim.
And if I wanted to party, I go to London, you know. With that girl that says she was my girlfriend, I only met her that one weekend, man, you know.
Yeah.
All these people trying to hook up with me, man.
But you know, like
that's part of it.
Oh, cool.
It's all commercial now. Isn't it?
It's a shame they're doing that to pubs.
We
It
knew
really
the
is.
owner of this place, and he unfortunately, and he was very pro, you know, the incident and all that. Because back then, you know, the locals used to get mad about it, and they don't want to know about it, and you know, the chamber music at the maltings, that was a big excitement here. So that UFO thing, they didn't dig it, man. And then after a while, but the guy that owned this place, he was into it. He knew who we were, he knew everything. So he had things up about it and the whole thing. But then he took his life in that place. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he was a really nice guy.
That's a shame. That's very
But it was a
shame.
conspiracy. He just
Some people just do it. Yeah.
Something went wrong.
Some people it just happens with some people. It's a shame.
Nice guy in the 90s, 80s, you know. It's really
Okay.
nice.
Well, this is well. Thanks for showing us this, Larry. And just shot your T-shirt because it's a very good T-shirt you got on.
I live by that.
Second Amendment, America's original national homeland security. Exactly. They take the government are currently saying we're going to make the country safer by taking guns away from the good people and putting them in the hands of the government. Yeah.
That will never happen.
No.
Over here, it happened 1,000 years ago. So.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. But sensible people realise.
Hard to take down, you know, anything with birdshot, you know, or pellet.
Yeah. The only way to keep a country safe when there's bad guys around is to put guns in the hands of the good guys. That's the only way.
Dangerous.
Dangerous.
Damn right,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You know, but listen, I'm a patriot.
Look at here's Tino. Let me have a look at Tino's T-shirt as well. Monsterland. That's a cryptozoology book, isn't it? Oh well, look. There's a UFO. There's a bit aliens and things. This is brilliant, man. That's brilliant.
And that's Ronnie LeBlanc out of Leominster, Mass.
Yeah.
And he's got this great book he wrote, and we love Ronnie. And he's got a new TV show out called Monsterland.
Brilliant.
And I was the first guest on it.
Great, man.
Probably be the last show he ever did. I don't know.
Anyway, we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on and to our next part of this journey. So please join us.
They've seen ghosts in there many times, but that is the old house, the famous old house. and a big part of our story, my story, as far as the research end of our book. Nothing, I wouldn't have noticed the place back in 80. I will say, in 1980, when the nights of the incident, there are kids, Pete, Warnock, and Richie, and Janet Johnson, they saw the lights, the flashes of ours,
the old
the
house.
excitement going on over the big night on the 3rd. And they're not liars, you know, and he was a science teacher on Bentwaters, University of Maryland on the Bay. And that's it. So that's a part of the old history, and that is the old house.
That's the old house from
And
left
it's
at
still an
Eastgate.
old house. That
Nice.
is it.
So you were walking up over here. It's a long walk from the pub all the way up here.
The house had nothing to do with my time here.
No.
This has to do with when I came back to do research, and I brought Peter here in '88.
All right, yeah. But,
Okay,
yeah.
and but it became a big part of that part of my life.
This is the direction we're heading to, which you took that night from the pub.
This is the
This
only
is
way
it.
to get there,
Yeah.
back to the
We're heading towards
But I
Bentwaters
wouldn't
now.
have noticed anything in this little tiny town. This is one you blink and you feel it. It's called Ike.
Ike. That's not I-C-K-E, it's a David Ike, it's E-Y-K-E.
Wide here because of military vehicles. You'll see it was all
This is
opened up.
it's the end of the Bentwaters runway is
Now it's
over here.
further over, you'll see it.
Yeah, right you
There's
are.
a few things I want to show you.
Yeah. So this is the route Larry was taking
Well, this is the only way to get to the base.
to get towards the base. Yeah.
You gotta watch
So
the
show
speed.
how big the base is.
These are outskirts of it.
Was that water tower anything to do with the base?
Yep.
Was that still, that was there then, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that was still there.
The runways, you see these trees have all grown now.
Yes, of course.
But Peter and I had our big first night sighting out here too. And I can show you that field, but it's not, these are all living quarters for the Air Force.
At the time, yeah.
Back there, all those houses. Now, and over here, the bushes are just too high. But over there is the runways and bases over there.
Yeah.
Over there.
So we'd have seen planes flying over our head if we were here then.
Over there, you'd see them real low.
There'd be aircraft coming in and out.
This is the bases. This is the base. That's on the base.
Yeah.
I
So
want to show you the main.
was this all barracks? These houses were all
No,
barracks?
they weren't even there.
Married quarters? No, they weren't.
weren't
Okay.
even there. That's all base. Now I want you to slow down a little bit. See how it? No, keep going. Keep going. Now you get rear-ended here.
So I'm watching, don't worry.
Now pull into this little diversion here.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Nope, the other one on the left. On
That
the
one,
left.
that one?
Yep,
Yeah.
on the left.
There's an old Quonset hut over
Really?
there.
That was.
They used to have those at the Churchill Hospital.
that
and,
was Holt's office.
Ah,
oh, right.
okay.
Was it?
Okay, where you are right now.
Let's do it,
Get
come
out
on.
of the car.
Let's go, get out of the car.
What's over here then, Larry? Where are we now?
Okay, where we are right now, if you went back 37 years, you'd be seeing this. Look,
This is the actual spot over.
no,
right.
here. You're standing at the main entrance to Bentwaters.
So this little park, this little indent here, this
That's right
parking
here.
place. So this was.
I'm standing right
Yeah.
here 37 years ago taking this picture, looking at right behind you.
Yeah.
Stay there.
That's it.
Okay, so that
Is that?
Is
that-
the entrance. This is where the entrance was.
Stand there. Look, showing me the picture. So this is that.
This road here,
Yeah.
we're standing probably.
As you can see, it's been redone.
Yeah, it's been redone.
Yeah.
And it's fenced here. This is the main entrance. In fact, basically here,
Oh, just stand there. Let me just take that picture. That's my record. And then,
this is where we are right now. That's how things change, kids.
God, it's changed, isn't it?
hang on, don't move. Right, let me take two pictures. One, and then just a close up of you in the picture. Okay.
That has changed, hasn't it, mate? Yeah. So this was what this area where we are now looked like. This was the entrance. All this was
This
the
is
entrance.
it. Right behind me
Yeah.
is what you're looking at 37
Yeah.
years ago.
And how is all these? So these
And
trees have
this
grown
is-
since then.
This is the morning. This is the late morning of my incident.
Yeah.
On the third night.
Nice.
That's it. You're looking. You'd be seeing this, except we'd be in there a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're seeing this. You drive in a bit. There's a guard shack there. There was another one over here, and that's it. That's the main entrance to the base. You know, salutes proudly rendered and returned. All that. That's what
Yeah.
that sign says.
Yeah.
And that pine tree's probably there, much bigger somewhere in there. None of these trees were.
Yeah. So all these trees have grown up since then.
Well, that probably didn't. That was probably there.
Was,
But we're right here. Everything's right about there.
Yeah.
Right there. Exactly this picture.
Yeah, I see what he means. He's going
So what's
through.
over there now? There's like a sign saying something.
Well, I'll take you in the
It
base.
says Rendlesham
Heath.
Rendlesham Heath, it says there. So that's, what's that?
It's nothing to do with the Africa.
Yeah. There's obviously is now something
Whatever
else.
you're saying there didn't exist in 1980.
Yeah, so it's something else
They're
now.
all new houses. These are residential things.
So it's a housing estate now.
They've torn down most of. This is where we live. This is not the. This is where we live. Where our clubs or shops.
Was this your barracks where you were in here?
They were called dorms. for the Air
Dorms, sorry,
Force.
dorms.
That's Army.
That's British stuff.
Our
Barracks.
dorms were way over there for the security police and other people. I'll take it. We'll go on. I'll show you.
Okay,
where
mate. Okay.
That's,
Do you want me to go down there?
No, I want you to go around this
Okay,
and go
go
down.
with
I
you.
want to show you the base.
So that. Oh look, yeah, it's
That's
still
the flight
something
line
there,
and
man. Yeah.
Tactical end. This is the
Okay.
housing end. This I cross this field every day. Every day, cross there and walk to work.
Oops. So this is the.
Go on.
This is these houses here are recent developments.
Absolutely. I want you to slow down. These, keep going. No, keep going. I'm just trying to explain.
Yeah.
These are all new. They were never there. These were built, they were Air Force facilities, but they did not exist in my time. They're newer than my days. They are now something else. That was the security police operations at that time.
Are these roads the same in the same layout?
I doubt it.
Okay.
They could be, they might be, but as we're in here, I'm trying to find something, guys. This is why I'm just, bear with me.
Maybe there's still something that's the same.
The chapel might be here still.
Yeah.
These are old. No, they're old housing. I guess not important. Keep going. I'm just trying to get a lay of the land, guys.
Yeah.
So you got.
Sure, mate, sure.
Okay. See, hold on. See, that big tree would have been here.
You reckon
Yeah.
that's old guys?
And I
Yeah.
want you to keep going, please. See, it's all gone.
All brand new.
You're
All
on
brand new.
the base.
So right now I'm driving over what was your playing fields and
No,
housing.
no, we're way past all that.
Okay.
We, if you can go down this road,
This one?
please.
I think I just saw something down here on the
Yeah.
right hand side.
There's a flag there. What's that
Is that
flag?
the chapel?
I want you to slow down. No, that isn't. No, that wasn't even there in my days.
Okay.
I want you to drive over here, please. And just stop. I want to.
What are these flagpoles?
Stop.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with my day.
No.
I want to ask these guys. They live here.
Okay.
Removed.
Now, Larry, is this the original chapel from the base?
It sure is. In fact, that
It's the
was
base. This building is the actual original
That's
chapel.
the Bentwaters Chapel.
Yeah.
This.
It's still a church by the look of
Explain
things.
something to you. This empty plaque here has a historical significance,
Hmm.
and the reason why, it was a memorial to President John F. Kennedy and was placed here after he was assassinated in 1963.
Right.
And it's been removed, but this was a memorial for President Kennedy.
Was this patio all here?
Yes, that would have been.
But these flagpoles are...
And there was a road, a big road
Yeah.
here, which is.
Well, these flagpoles have anything to do with the old base, like they?
No.
That's okay. It's still a church of sorts. It's got
But I
like.
can remember standing here in this,
Okay.
and there is like that building. We need to kind of go that way.
Do you want to walk around if I
Yeah, because they're young. The poor kids are too young.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna continue on foot now.
It comes here to a dead end.
So this was the officers' accommodation
That was
over there.
offices, you know,
and Holt's was there.
married quarters.
Yeah. Well, not these buildings, but the actual
The
area.
houses.
Yeah. So we're going through an area where there's roads here, but the buildings have all changed. It's probably the trees are the
modern
only.
housing estate
Yeah, the
now.
trees are probably the only original thing.
Well, this is where we live.
And that
This is the
church.
combat end.
And that church. The church has had an extension built on it, so but the original building is still there. The
Now, if
original
you could ease
chapel.
out into the road and turn right. If you look left real quick, this has been yes, that is part of an office, the All Ranks Club down there. The gas station, the main gate was all. This is kind of a. Go down here. There is literally. Keep going. I'm trying to get you over.
Yeah, I'm gather where you're going with me on this.
That didn't exist. Whatever was there has been torn down.
There looks like something was original there.
No, but it wasn't original. I remember it. It was newer, and it's still been torn down.
Right. Okay.
That was a big, giant recreation building, I think, that they built. It had nothing to do. But this, no, it's not important. That would have been there.
The white part.
Yep, some of that shit would have been there.
Is that original? No.
I think so.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's amazing.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. It's just nothing we're looking at existed.
No.
This is happening. I've noticed more and more that there's been things being torn down and rebuilt. It's becoming more and more common to do that. Everywhere, everywhere we go, right? Old stuff has been erased.
I'm vibing here. If we could.
Anything you want?
Over that way would have been our dorms, man. You know.
Let's kind of have a look.
I just want to show you a picture, man. I got a little headache too. Fuck me.
I've got painkillers.
Go ahead, I'll need them.
You let me know which ones you want.
You know, because I relive shit out here.
Look at that. Is that anything to do with you?
No, do you know what? There's a sign there.
That's a big stuff.
Sign.
No, nothing exists.
What's that say over there?
I see nothing here.
It says Rendlesham Peace Palace.
There's some peace. Oh, right.
What the
Looks
hell?
like some kind of New Age retreat or something.
What the hell is that? I have to find out what that is.
Rendlesham Peace Palace.
It's the Maharishi.
Oh no, the Maharishi
Oh, it's a-
Peace Palace. What am I talking
Oh,
about?
Maharishi. Oh my God, it's a new one of these.
Yes.
It's like the Global Retreat Centre, the Brahma Kumaris.
Yeah, that's Maharishi
Yeah.
Yogi, you know, from the Beatles.
That's been made to look like an old style building,
So
but it's
Yeah.
brand new
there is a
build.
big a Beatle connection now,
Alright, that's interesting.
because that is the Mount Maharishi Foundation.
This is quite new.
It's all new.
Very. This is very new.
You could, yeah. It looks old, but it's not. It's new.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Stop here. In here. Don't go there. I'm going to show you exactly where the fuck you are.
Right.
37 years ago.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Okay.
Because we have to. Don't panic with the camera. Hang on.
It's original.
Now we're on the living area of RAF Bentwaters, and we've been driving around with Tino and Ben. And there was, if you served here, guys, I'm telling you, you'd be shocked. It's just, but except the chapel, which we covered, it is nothing. There's nothing until, it's funny, little lays of the land come back to you, and some things are still familiar. And why? And I saw this road been restructured at the end. It's been curbed up because there would have been room for parking more in. It was a lot wider. It's the surface is original. That hasn't changed. I can tell you that has not. Well, where we're standing now, if I walked here, this is so weird. There's a reason. If I did this right about here, I'm looking into my, I'm sorry, that road's still the same. That's the same. If I stood, I'm just getting it. It went in, went in, went in. See what they've done, they put it out, it was so wide that they've made it, they brought it forward. Because there's a big parking lot here, and that was the driving part. And the cars would park in, right, facing. And if I was, here's the thing. There. Right about here, if I looked up at that window, I'm looking into my dorm window.
This is where you lived. This is your
I'm
it's your
looking
quarters.
at my security police dorm window.
Blimey.
No, Adrian Bastinza did not live in my dorm. He lived 2 buildings back that way, which I'm about to show you. You have to cut and I can pull the pictures out.
Will do, yeah.
Oh, this is a mind trip. So I'm up higher because it was 2 level dorms, which I can show you what they look like. I can see that turn in the road here. That is the same. It's been restructured and all, but that's the same. The vibe's funny because none of these trees were here behind you. None of these trees. But see those buildings behind you?
Yeah.
They were being built during the time of the incident. They were the new housing I talk about. And the night me and Bastinza got grabbed and all the building supplies, they were right over here. And we came out into this parking lot. He came from over there. And this is all the building material where we got sprayed and taken in the car. Because all the construction material for these buildings when they were being built, and I have pictures of them being built, all happened here. And my dorm was right along this whole thing. That was a big, long building.
Wow. All changed now, but this is where Larry lived.
And
This
there
was his
a big
quarters.
empty field back there, and before they started that was a big empty field. And then during here, I can show you if you cut, and then we'll come back, what you're seeing 37 years ago.
Right. Brilliant.
Yep. The hospital
That's
was
an original
over there.
manhole cover,
But we had a
which
lot
was
of
here
World War
in
II
1980.
style buildings. Yeah, even
At
the
least around
modern
those
Air
times.
Force
The
stuff
Yeah.
spot
was
is
left
anyway,
here.
not necessarily
Yeah.
the
Didn't
ironwork.
exist in my time
Yeah.
either. It was not like that.
You can see
But it's,
that's been re-
Down there was the chow hall, which I suppose is the mess, as we would say over here.
Pleasure.
And
Oh, we're here. We're kind of
through that house was born still then.
Yeah, I'm showing these guys where I live.
And these were dorms. And there was female dorms.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All along here. 2-story and 4-story buildings.
I have a picture. I'll show you.
And the original buildings.
I don't
Quite
have these
something.
crazy machines the kids have.
See, that's the building there. This is the very same building.
Yep.
And it's the original building from the base. It's another building like the chapel. This is an original building from the
That's out
base.
my dorm window.
Yeah. And this is out Larry's dorm window. The dorm was up here. And we met an old lady. I'll tell you more about that later when we met the old lady.
Pine tree. There it
But
is.
Oh yeah.
and there's that pine tree. Yeah, it's still there. Still there.
It doesn't look very healthy.
No,
does it?
but that's the same pine tree.
It's like a plucked chicken.
And these new lampposts. But that's the view from Larry's dorm, which was up there. So
Yep.
we're exact same
And
place.
this, where you're standing
You're gonna have to do a lot of editing, Ben.
here, is looking straight down this road.
Okay.
If you
so
went straight, the dorms.
your door.
No, I'm sorry.
Hang on.
Okay, let me get it right. I'm standing up there
Yeah.
at that house.
So we're looking back.
We're looking back.
towards here.
So your
toward here.
dorm. So we're looking back in this direction.
Yeah.
My
That's
dorm's here.
Larry's dorm.
There's Larry's dorm.
Bastinza's dorm.
Those houses
That's
are
here,
right
that's
there now
Christina's
through
dorm,
the
yeah.
trees.
Yeah.
And there's these houses here,
that's the new
there.
houses.
Right
there.
in there.
Yeah.
Those are those houses.
You can
right
just
in
see them
front
through the trees. Those houses there.
Yeah.
You can just see them through the trees here.
And that's all
The
new
brownies.
trees.
Yeah.
Those trees
So we're
are
on
the
that road. We're standing just where that junction is there. This is where we're standing right now. So it's all changed, but this is the exact spot
And
we're
I
on.
feel old as hell.
You put the other ones back in
Well,
there.
time changes and time flies. You know how it is,
But I
Larry.
just get prettier by the year.
Of course, I'm not going to deny
What
that.
an experience today with Dear Irene, and
Yeah.
this is how this stuff works, and it's a damn shame. And I'm so glad I spent it with you two soldiers. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
I'm glad to.
But this is the thing: if people want to, that have been very close to me, turn on these. This is what the value is: the weirdness that happens, and the
Yeah.
connections, and it's a bigger plan and work,
Exactly.
man. And it's so hot. I knew this was it. It's so
Yeah.
freaking weird.
When we get back home, I'll tell you in more detail exactly what's just happened to us. It's really amazing. But for now, we're going to carry on with Larry's journey. So let's proceed to the next point of interest. Now, Larry, what happened yesterday? I want to go through this experience that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
We met an amazing old lady, didn't we? Yvonne, her name was.
We did.
And we were just at that place where you've just seen the scene where Larry is showing us where he used to live, where his dorms used to be at the base. And there was an old lady walking. As soon as we arrived, we saw her, didn't she? She was hobbling. She was had difficulty walking. She was sort of like hunched over. A lady probably at least in her 70s or 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sort of hobbling along the road, not on the pavement, on the road.
On the street, yeah.
Where it's flat.
Yeah.
And we got talking to her. And it's pretty amazing what happened, isn't it? I mean, once we got talking to her, we realised she was living, basically, in the house built exactly where your home used to be.
Where our dorm was, her house was at the end, in fact, right where the entrance to my dorm was.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I have the pictures, because we found that area, because the place is not recognizable. And I'm like, I just knew when we got to the end of the street, this street, it's the same street, it's just been redesigned a bit. And that curve and the other street, and I could show you guys looking down that street toward where we were standing, and I could show you looking out my room's window down where we were standing, and that curve's still there. Yeah. And the lady we met there, and she knew.
She knew who you were.
She did, and I didn't want, because I didn't want her thinking, these three guys, what are they going to do to me? And she was really nice, Yvonne, and she was a medical artist.
She was a medical illustrator, so
Illustrator.
she do. I actually helped her get back to her house because she had trouble walking. And I used my portering training,
You did, it was
which I haven't forgotten, and I
It was beautiful.
took her back to her home. And she's had 2 hip replacements. She had one elective hip replacement, and then she had a fracture on the other hip and had to have it done. They don't normally do double hip replacements. You normally have a space of a couple of years between each one. But
She's a soldier. But she was sharp as a whip, and she invited us in the house.
yeah. It's
And
quite
they used
amazing.
to
She
have
must have sensed that we were all right, because
Yeah.
most old ladies her age wouldn't invite three
No.
strange, strapping young guys into their home, complete strangers, because
Well,
the consequences
young
could be
would
awful.
apply with
Well,
that.
it's quite young, quite young.
but it was, yeah.
Compared to
no one
her.
should let just anyone you don't know. But she knew who
She
I
must have
was.
sensed. She must have sensed we were
And
all right.
she had my book, Left at Eastgate.
She had a copy of Left at Eastgate.
Yeah.
She bought it when she was moving to Woodbridge. When she
years
moved-
ago, and there she, it's funny because when we were talking, she goes, "I know you from the," and I'm thinking, oh, you wouldn't expect someone like that, and she had the book, and so she got in her little. I said, "I'm happy to sign it," and we gave her the other Peter's book, Halt in Woodbridge, and she, which I happen to have with me, and she went up the little stair thing up and came down like a jackrabbit, and she was just a nice person. Those are the kind of things the good things.
Yeah.
In 37 years that happen when you meet these good people.
Yeah.
And not because they have the book or because they don't, because I am proud of my book, and if anyone else isn't, I don't give a damn. And she enjoyed it, and those little moments, and it was so strange to find it, because that living part of the Bentwater space is what's it called, a housing estate?
It's a housing estate now. It's been turned, as you saw in the videos we've just been making, that it's basically just quite a normal housing estate of it's quite upmarket, I'd say.
Yeah,
Some nice big houses and things like that.
And the Maharishi has his rig there,
the famous one of the
and
Beatles.
she's part of that.
The Beatles guru, he has like a headquarters
giant,
there.
Well, no, folks, So there's always a Beatles connection here, and that was weird too. And it was just, as soon as we came in, because everything had been restructured. We asked those young teenage girls, about this. They had no idea. It was hilarious. I said, "Don't worry, we're safe. We're not Vegas," and they were fine. And
it's a shame, because they were sitting outside the only original building, or one of the few original
chapel.
buildings that were left.
The church,
Yeah, that was actually the chapel of the base. It's one of the few things they left standing.
And I showed you the memorial that was the plaque to John F. Kennedy's assassination, which was there when obviously it was years before I was there. So that was there, and
The plinth was there, but the plaque was gone.
yeah,
Which
and
is a shame.
it was there years ago when I visited there, but yeah, it's all gone. Everything I ever knew until we happened to leave. We were leaving. I said, "Oh, heck with this! It's a maze," and I go, "Oh, wait a minute! It just brought me back to that area hadn't ended, and the way the fence ran." And I go, "That's where our parking lot was. That's where we got taken from, into the car around the new construction. You saw all the buildings. I have pictures of the buildings you saw being built, and all. And I showed how our dorms were." And there was mine, there was another, and then Adrian's were 3 up. Not my same dorm. And so you got some perspective, even though the buildings aren't there, the lay of the land was the same, but 30, almost 40 years later.
And it's
And she was a real nice lady anyway, it's more
and you
important.
signed her copy of
Yeah,
that
yeah, absolutely.
and gave her a copy of Halton Woodbridge.
Yeah, and because I think that's a great one too. And
we took some photos of her. So
oh, really? Okay.
yeah, we got some photos of her.
Oh,
too.
cool.
So,
I think I remember.
and which she's given us permission to. She gave us permission
She
to
was
do that.
easygoing. She's a great artist. She's really her
You
work.
walk her house is she's a really old lady. She can't walk properly. She has a stair lift to get up the stairs. Yeah, she has easels and paintings and everywhere. She's a former medical illustrator and an
I
artist.
said, she's my kind of person. But to have us in, and that was a joy. Those are the little moments in all the years of this silly crap. Is that those kind of, and Peter and I had millions of those kind of things happen with people.
Yeah.
Not UFO people. We have good using his word, good people in the gig that I know, and then it's the other people you don't know or never met, or people have never been around it, that this thing has brought you in contact with. That's the stuff that nobody can take from me, but no one can do that. Because I value those things, and other people want to erase them from their lives. That's fine. I'm not other people.
What's interesting is also if we had turned up at that place 3 minutes later, we wouldn't have seen her.
That's how it works.
She'd managed to get to her, we would not have seen that old lady. We've never met her. It's synchronicity. I've talked before about synchronicity.
Oh, totally.
It is. It's as if the gods were smiling on us, and they
Very strange.
brought us together. This lady who read Larry's book and had it, and Larry was there to sign it for her. It must have.
Yeah.
She's really happy. She's
Well, I
really
think
happy to
also,
meet him.
I think it was great that, because remember that guy parked there, blowing the horn at her, like she
Yeah,
was.
someone was walking past her. Somebody, a local person, who like pulled into that.
Oh, was he
building.
being nice or
No, he was like
trying to get around the
It
way?
was a woman. She was basically just honking her to get out of the way. And this old lady was on the road
didn't
because
move,
the pavement's too bumpy. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we had real trouble. She was quite pleased that I could hold her hand.
Well,
to
I
get
think
back
maybe
to the
that's why
house.
we were there, because you helped her back into the
Yeah.
house, because she really struggled. 2 hip replacements, I could imagine. But, we all have mothers, and you got to look after them. She didn't have children and all, but she was such a nice person.
Yeah,
was
she had a
really
painting of
smart.
her husband. She'd lost her husband.
Yeah.
But she said she did have family. Well, her family was like the Maharishi group, which she was a member of.
Yeah.
So she had people.
Well, if they're like her, they're nice people then.
Yeah.
I've never met any of them.
No, I mean I only know that it was the Beatles guru. And
I
he
asked
had
her
a-
if she knew the Beatles back then, if she
spiritual-
was part. She goes, no. So we had to leave immediately. No, I'm kidding. So, she was lovely. You're
Yeah.
wrong.
If
Which I think I asked her how you spell your name about 6 times. She probably wanted to, but it was...
She didn't mind.
No, and lovely.
But
lovely
that
person.
was one of the real highlights, I think, of this event.
Yeah, it was.
Well, our panel of TV viewers will show you the rest of the tour now.
Go.
New security police building, built later after our time, the Rendlesham thing. Right in this area would have been Ziegler's office and the law enforcement desk, which is long gone. That was the PSA building. That was the civilian contractors. Right here, if I think it was. They might have been not here then, those buildings back there. That big hangar was, and the post office was in front of it. And I have pictures you can insert. So that was the post office. That little hut was there. That building had been here, I don't know what it was. That is the motor pool where we went to get light alls, which is back there, which is some company now. And it didn't look like that then, but that's the area where it was, and all that. And so this is the ring road for the base, which we're about to hit, and yeah.
So this is it. Look at those hangars there in the
I'm gonna
distance.
put you in a position down here,
See?
looking up this way.
There's our hangars.
where
It's
you-
definitely the base.
Yep.
I've not been on this. This is the Bentwaters base. I've not been here before. And we just went through that guard shack there, which is now the. This is called Bentwaters Park. It's no longer an air base.
Okay, let's move on.
So it's kind of an industrial. It's kind of an industrial estate.
But I'm gonna have you stop.
Yeah.
Down,
Here we
and
go.
I'm gonna
Just tell me where.
And I'm with you.
Right, we're getting close to the control tower now, ladies and gentlemen.
You want it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Not in here, mate. No.
You want me to actually go inside that gate?
Yes, please.
I'm okay to go in there, yeah?
Yes, please.
And here we go. No unauthorised entry. Control tower. All visitors, please report to reception.
Well,
Oh, blimey.
they're closed on the weekend, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
okay.
all right.
Security
Look,
is there.
look at that.
That's the sign I have a picture of
That
from 1980.
RAF Bentwaters sign.
Well, I have the picture of
The
it.
famous sign.
That's the control tower.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get some pics.
Yeah.
And
Wicked.
then we have to, because that's the runway out there, you see.
Okay.
I'm going to
Nice.
show you the sign back
Let's
there.
get out of the car.
You do your thing.
Yeah. Well, this is windy here. It's quite windy because we're close to the sea, and it's all flat land to the sea now. And we have here. This is actually part of the runway. We come here in 1980. There'd be aircraft. There'd be aircraft going backwards and forwards and taking off and landing.
They'd be, usually they're on docked here at night, like the KC-135.
Got to get a photo by the sign.
I'm just trying to show you the sign back there, so carry on.
Okay.
Take a picture of me by the sign. It's one by one.
Will do, mate. Yeah.
If you go like that, come
Okay.
closer.
Okay. Sure. Just gonna come a bit closer. It's amazing. There's the control tower. There's a plaque there. Let's get a shot of this plaque. One sec. Now look at this. In memory of gratitude to those who served RAF Bentwaters. And they're in 1944 to 1993.
Behind you is the flight tower, which is on all the TV shows from Bentwaters. A lot of these are aircraft storage buildings way out there. The planes would have, the runway's actually over there. These are taxiing areas, right? So you see KC-135s with lights on, light on at night, being refueled and all that. And then none of those dome things were there then. And those are hardened, blast-proof aircraft hangars, which I'm going to take you to. And a lot of them were still being built when I was stationed.
See, they've got the gates, one of the gates open. They got like
Be able to go
sliding doors, yeah.
Yep.
It reminds you of the old
That was the
Hangar 18.
where it says TV and film production was the fire department. You can see the old practice tower.
Yeah.
That was the fire department on the main Air Force fire. And now it's right out. And
Yes.
so, and that's the sign though. So I'm glad I
Yeah, so
saw it.
Larry's got a photo. We'll be showing the photos later that Larry's got. I've already got a shot of that. So it's amazing. Bloody windy here. But it's not cold. It's not too cold. There, of course, is the famous sign.
For you calling my mother, that's in the communications building right there.
There's an old
Hang on a minute.
SAM launcher there.
You might want to film some of this.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely. This is the old Cold. This is the Cold War
Well,
Museum.
yes, but we're going to
Oh, no.
continue that.
Hang
Okay.
on. Let me
Just gonna
do
go back a
sweep
bit.
round. Hang on,
Yeah.
because that's all
Well,
greened
let's
up.
do that on the way back because this didn't exist in 1980.
Okay.
Let's do it on the way back.
But that's
Okay, speeches.
We got
yeah,
enough to
sure.
do.
No worries.
That building would have been here then.
There's an A-10 aircraft there. You can see.
Yeah,
Or an
we'll
aircraft,
film-
some kind of fighter jet, rather.
We'll film. That's a
And that's
Phantom.
it, yeah.
F4 Phantom.
And this here is what I showed you earlier, the fire brigade. They crashed the crash fire brigade for air crashes and things. There's their train. That's the train on there, like firemen do. And that was TV and film production.
Okay, I'm sorry. Here's the
Bruiser.
road. I'm
Oops.
sorry, we went the wrong way. And
That
you
was
have to
fenced
turn
off here.
around, please.
You can just see by this fencing and by the architecture, well, this is an ex-military base. It has
You
that
want me inside
atmosphere.
there?
It has that
No,
atmosphere.
not at all.
Or do I go around the back
I
there?
need you to go down that road, please. I'm sorry.
You can see there's the A-10 there, and there's the fighter jet, the F4 Phantom fighter jet, and the A-10 aircraft
Yeah,
there.
the road's goofy, and that's a shame. We need to go down this road, mate.
Yeah, amazing to be here.
Yeah, you need to go down this road, mate.
Okay, having another shot of the Bentwaters Cold War Museum. As you can see here, surface-to-air missile launcher. What's this then, Larry? Is this a...
Monsterland, yeah.
And there's
This is the Harden Communications building back there where I got my fine. That's an A-10. Isn't that the Cold War Museum on Bentwaters?
Yeah,
Which I've
A-10 is
never
like-
actually attended or been in. Those are light alls. That's a light all back there. You see those big triangular things with the lights on
yeah.
top?
So that's the
an
famous
actual
light
light
all. That's the
yeah.
famous light all there.
That's the light all. So
Yeah.
they're not little, handheld
Yeah.
things.
What's this thing here, Larry? This thing with a big radar dish on.
No idea. They didn't make them back.
It looks
in
like
my
some
day.
sort of radar
And
device.
that's the A-10 tank buster, and that's a major gun in the front, and that's that was here, the 81st Tank Fighter Wing. That's what we had, and that was everywhere, and here it is. And they were introduced in '78 to the service, '77.
So they were quite new by the time you got
back
here.
then. Now they're being deactivated. We still use them. It's not really important to the incident.
This
No,
was a
it's
gun
a bit
club.
of
There's a
history.
firing range there, and that was the end of the firing range.
Yep.
And
And I had.
we've been past some
as you
bunkers.
drive on. Now, as I was
Building 131.
the night, we would be brought out on this road on a big blue school bus to go on our shift. They'd pick us up on the place you've just been on the Living Inn at the movie theater, which is long gone, and they would drive us to Central Security Control. The fence line, by the way, that you're seeing on the left has actually been raised since 1980. It was only about 6 foot high and did not have barbed wire at the top. And I cannot believe this. They've closed the fucking gates.
Oh, blimey.
You've got to be kidding me.
And this is an old. You can definitely see that's an old military gate.
Well,
No
my
worries.
perimeter post 18 would have looked just like that, though. Wait a minute. And that's. Wait a minute. Hold on. The gate's locked too. What a
Oh,
shame.
damn.
What a shame.
That's a shame,
I
yeah.
would have shown you everything then.
Oh, that's a shame. Okay.
I think we're going to get
Right,
some weather.
we have. Unfortunately, we're just getting a little shower.
We can do this again. We can get out here. He would have let us, but he's
tied.
now.
You can't. You get in trouble.
But that never used to be.
We just met a security guard, and he's unfortunately explained that this is all sealed off, unfortunately. But we are going to make inquiries about maybe getting permission to go through this gate here and see the rest of the base, of the old base. He's a very helpful chap, wasn't he? Very nice chap.
Yeah.
He'd heard of Larry, like everyone has around here. He knew Colonel Holt.
And his daughter.
And his daughter, yeah. Sorry, family secret. But there you can see is the guard post there, which is similar to the one that Larry was at. And hopefully we'll be able to get a chance to maybe do a bit more filming. But we're going to make a few inquiries, and we'll let you know.
Those are, by the way, it loops around and it goes up near that church, and then you're up on the other end of the.
You come back up the other side.
There's the church
and then
that
the
Larry
weapons storage
mentions.
area is way the heck out that way.
Okay.
Way out. You can't see anything here. It's a
But
shame.
this is basically Larry's just showing us where he would have gone. This road goes all the way around the base to the
I think
place
that's
where
all
Larry
we're
would have
going to
been.
get today.
Yeah.
What a drag! But we will do this. I owe you that. We will.
No worries. We will be back, ladies and gentlemen. We will see more of
But
this.
you want to see where the incidents happen. I think that's real important. This
That's
is
where we're
my
going to go
point.
next. Yeah, because so far the story we've got so far is you getting back to the base. You're back to your not barracks, the dorms.
Well, here it is. Let's go right
And then,
now. I'm picked up.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
the pickup truck. England is riding. Bastins is driving. Steve's in the back. This guy's in the back. And we're driving to Mark Thompson. We're driving down here to the motor pool where you've seen. So now we're going the way. We're doing the incident now.
Okay, right you are.
Okay. So CSC. See those hangars out there?
Yeah.
Central Security Control Hall's on that side. You can't see it today.
Okie doke. Right, so we're heading back towards the control tower area.
You go that green barn straight out, you're looking at, straight there. You go right up above the end of it, you're seeing a tower just mixed in with those very distant trees, pine trees.
I got it.
Okay, that's the observation tower for within the WSA, weapons storage area, which we can't see because those earthen mounds are actually part of its defenses. And the WSA, by the way, you can see some of the barriers way down. See those mounds, the earth mounds rising? See the concrete in there? The weapons storage area goes from way over there all the way out there. It's quite big, but you can't get an idea of it. And Central Security Control, where we had a guard mount, is way over there. You can't see any of it, but beyond those trees. And yeah, over there in the distance.
Okay.
Right over here is where Peter and I had all that happen in this view.
We've just left
Is
them.
that, go on.
So I was going to say, we've just left Bentwaters, and we're following the route that Larry took that night. He picked up light oils from the main entrance,
From the motor
pool, sorry, where we showed you earlier, and he drove and picked up some more people at the main entrance. Is that right? Where we
no,
showed
we met
you
up with other vehicles.
other vehicles, yeah. And now we're heading on the back road to Woodbridge Base, which is where this story will continue. It's we just passed a field where Larry and Peter.
The hell with that. That's not even relevant.
No,
Sorry,
okay, mate. No worries.
That part of this history involves people
No
that
problem,
have nothing to do with this.
No worries. We're going to just carry on this back road, and we'll pick up the story in a minute. So this is the overgrown remains of Woodbridge Base, and are these runway lights here? These are the remains of the runway lights.
Yes, they are.
That's the biggest. Was it biggest runway in Europe? Would you say?
It was, and it was space shuttle capable.
Space shuttle could have landed here if it wanted. Blimey. We're not far from where the old
There's
A10
Woodbridge.
photo were taken.
No, we've passed that already, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's no worries, no
The
worries.
land doesn't even look like it
I
did.
know. I was going to
Now, you
photo
want
it.
to park in
because-
here, please? Because we're going to be on foot from now
Yeah.
on.
This is starting to look familiar. I think I've been here before.
You would have been.
Yeah, I think regular viewers will recognise this particular place. So we're just going to have a little park here.
As you're seeing, we're like nothing. It was all ferns. All this was ferns.
Eastgate Road
And
here.
then trees way back. This is all open, so you have line of sight.
Yeah.
That's the idea. So you can see any Spitsnaz was our thing. They come in from the air.
Special Forces.
Russian, and
LGR.
they would come through. And the other thing was, young airmen and all, they were our enemy. We were trained to repel them.
Yeah.
Not fucking bird watchers. Not-
So this wood was pushed back 500 feet, and there was no woods at all this side.
Do that again in about 30 seconds
Yep.
if you can.
Okay.
Starting.
This is Eastgate Road. The ground's encroached on it. It was much wider in 1980. It's far as you can see was ferns. There were no trees on this side all the way down the road. There were no trees way back there. It was all flat ferns because you had to have line of sight as base defenders. And this was all kill zones out here. If you attacked, we would fight even out to here.
You need to see what you're shooting at,
Yeah,
so
but
no
this
trees.
was the access. When I came to class on Woodbridge, the school bus would come down here, and this is, at the very end, is East Gate. And that's where it all began. And because I talked to Burroughs, you know, I know exactly what he told me. I'll go with that. I wasn't there. So let's go there.
Right, we're going to head for East Gate. Just imagine this without the trees.
Without any trees.
Just ferns only.
There wouldn't have been.
And there's the fence line of Woodbridge.
Yeah, people try to,
About you can just see it there through the trees. I've been this way before. So this is narrower than it used to be, this road. Right.
There was 2-lane road.
Okay, no, right, so we're heading
It
towards
wasn't heavily
East Gate.
used. He was going to cross the road till we came along.
Don't worry, mate, we won't hurt you.
Well, they do have poisonous snakes. Yeah, you'll recognize.
Okay, approaching East
That's
Gate
where
now.
Steve Plume and Palmer had their incident a few weeks later, yeah.
You got the right hat on there, Tino. UFO Truth. Let's have a look at your. Let me look at what you got on front of you. Let's have a quick look at that. Perfect, perfect. And Larry has got Monsterland.
I do.
Yeah, and I have got US Air Force UFO identification.
This is Monsterland of England, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. This is a.
So we plug our brother, you know, Ronnie, and he's one of the good guys in this stuff. There ain't many left. And, you know, they are what it's about, man, and that's it.
And here we are at Eastgate. This is the Eastgate you have to go left from.
No, not at all.
Why is it called left at Eastgate,
I'll
Larry?
explain that when we get more into my things.
Sure.
This is only based on the first night, Tennyson and Burroughs and all that. We've been here with them, and then Burroughs showed me exactly. He was just doing a gate check that night. Now, I'm not telling so. Yeah, this is the government version they want you to believe.
This is disinformation, ladies and gentlemen.
Totally.
I've been through this before in my previous film at Rendlesham. I talked all about this in detail. It is disinformation. It all leads up to the orange squeezer, which is it's called, the model of the object. But,
the true thing on here is their reports of the incident have caused division of opinion ever since.
Oh yeah.
No, it's
That's
actually giving voice to people that shouldn't have voices. They weren't in the military, never served, they weren't here, they don't know what it was, they don't even know this forest isn't what it was. And you know, if people eat crap like that, then, you know, bon appetit, but don't do it at my restaurant.
And here's the old...
Anyway, none of that was cleared out then. That would have been free fire areas and all low. This is East Gate, the famous East Gate. You need your pictures taken here, guys.
Yes.
And that guard shack wouldn't have been like that back then. It would have been those plastic little boxes they made you stand in.
Like the one by the lay-by we were stopped at Bentwaters.
In the pictures, but,
yeah.
You know, and then they, in later times, Reagan times, they built proper guard shacks. And I never worked on Woodbridge. I went to school on Woodbridge. And of course, you know, I don't remember it being like two ways. It was just a road in.
Hang on. Tell us now.
So anyway, on night one is this is East Gate to Woodbridge, the back gate at Woodbridge, and that's the guard shack. They didn't exist even in my time. They were modernized. The Plumes incident happened over there. You hear about Steve and Palmer way over near that last wall, I believe, because you look. Burroughs checking this gate, looks back, and sees strange lights straight ahead, all the way down that road into the forest. Right? So he calls, and let's meet up on the road. So that is, I'm basing on what he told me as we're both standing here, because I wasn't involved on night one. And that road, again, we've explained, was very wide. None of these trees existed. It was all ferns on the ground, because you need to observe the perimeters of your base, not just the fence. Once someone got to the fence, it was probably too late in war. And that's what it was. So again, I wasn't involved night one, but this is where he started to see, they saw the thought a plane crash. So he called it in and met with guys up where I'm going to take you next. But this is
One.
Okay, and on night one, I was with Peniston Burroughs telling
There's
me
Eastgate down there.
years later, Eastgate's way down there, is that the other people, Bastinza, I'm sorry, what's his name? Peniston Burroughs and Cabana-Sac. Bud Steffens was here, the relay, and just out there about 100 yards, according to them, they could see what they thought was an aircraft crash, the strange lights, and this is where they set off to get it, right from here. And John took me here a few years ago, because I asked him too, I wasn't involved in that. So that's that, so I wanted to show you that.
Oh,
And he
thanks.
told me that, so don't call me any bullshit. I'm with him here asking because I didn't know.
Sure. Can we know exactly where the craft landed? Do we know exactly where that is? The clearing. No, the clearing where the first craft landed, which they talk about.
Well, I don't know where they put the statue. Is where they say, but again, I wasn't involved night one.
Okay.
Where it ended is not even in this stand of tree forest. It's beyond Capel Green and a finger of trees. Now, I didn't know that either. So it's all, see this, folks? See this? Let me tell you what, it's Disneyland here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a morons, they're around.
That one's pointing over that way, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
it takes you down round
Everything
this way.
takes you another thing.
Yeah.
But so anyway, according to them guys, straight off here is where they first, on the first night, saw it. Were really watching the thing out there. It wasn't here. The trees here. We're not here then, guys. So it's not how it was. Okay. Third night. Okay. And this is it. So.
Okay.
But you don't have to film me because
No
it's a
worries.
while to get.
Sure, but this is where we went. Okay, where Larry went.
Now we can do.
Now
No, this is.
this is the road you turned into from the main road leading up to Eastgate.
Exactly, and of course it's changed. All the stone, it was a dirt road, dirt track back then, so you couldn't fly, but we were going fast, and these trees did not exist. It was like it was a very narrow road, only for one vehicle.
Nice.
And this is the only trail in that was here then. All these myths about UFO trails and, you know, it's fun for the little kids, you know, and they can have, and good for that. But it's not accurate. It's not the way it was. And this is a very narrow dirt track, and all the stone laid down is because when the 87 thing happened and wiped out the forest, which a lot of the morons don't like to admit, you had heavy equipment coming in to pull out all the ruined trees.
Yeah.
No,
So this is
a little alien.
so it was like a tunnel of trees. It was like a narrow road, tunnel of trees.
A cathedral effect, and you could just see a line of the. Listen, when I was here, and I would say 90% of the young guys that were new, no one knew the name of this forest at all. It was the woods, you know, and we would have no reason to know the name of it. It didn't matter.
It's a local thing, isn't it? Local name.
Whatever, you know, it's what and that's why these events were called the Bentwaters incidents in America, and some do still, because the only thing we could relate it to, I was living on Bentwaters, I worked Bentwaters, and so it became the Bentwaters incidents.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's been regurgitated and written so often, eventually they'll call it Elvis in Vegas or whatever. This is a real indigenous kind of slate. Shale, I'm sorry. What is that called?
That's flint.
Flint, that's the word.
Lovely. I love that. I love that kind of stone.
And you get some great stones out here, man. Mick, Keith, Charlie, they're all here. But,
Yeah.
yuck.
Very
So,
good, Larry. Very good.
It was very bad.
Last time I came down here was 2015. I came here with Colonel Holt.
exciting.
Regular viewers will know that, yeah, because they'll have watched it. I'll put a link in the description box, ladies and gentlemen, to that particular video and my other Rendlesham video. But this is kind of like an antidote, I think we're on now, to that particular one.
In what we call moron land.
Yeah, the
In
morons.
fact, we are looking, even though I'm telling the fellas how it was for me in 1980, we're doing a little pilot here. We're hoping to get it on, A&E. We're going to compete with Bozo and the gang, because we are going to find the indigenous strange creature that inhabits this place from time to time. And we'll keep you posted on that, because, folks, I'll tell you, it's a winner. That one is a winner. Yeah. Where the road widened into kind of a circular area.
Oh, is this where the broken tree? Let me film the broken tree over here.
It wasn't broken.
No, but that got blown down in '86. That tree.
87.
'87, the great storm.
Top of it got blown off.
Yeah.
And now, we stopped with the equipment and all that. That's where we stopped. And I will show you that's still there. That road didn't exist. Again, it was still the narrow way. And Chris Arnold's car is here that brought Burroughs out. But again, this has all been widened and weird. Our vehicle went into here with the light off. And this dip in the land was there. I can remember it walking
There's a
on
depression, you can see that,
It's
yeah.
been there forever. And this was a narrow trail right here. Not a road. It was a narrow kind of trail through. And this is where, I think, where England went off to join Hull.
Like a pathway, like a sort of pathway.
It was I think it was dark, but that's that. And then, but none of this was this wide, but this is the area where all the vehicles stopped because we could not get further. And second, why we didn't go all the way down is because there was a fence in there, even closer, which is long gone. So, you know, the myth makers and that. So this is where we began. And actually, I'm not going to take you through because there's no sense. We also broke that way through the trees, which if you pan back, that's how Rendlesham Forest looked in December of 1980. Very flat ground though, none of that green stuff. It was very flat, easy to get through. But of course now, the forest is, you know, is not. A lot of the recreations folks you see on television is filmed on that side of the track because the trees are like they were then, and some are from then. And I don't know why that got less hurt than this side. But all this didn't exist. Well, none of these. There was all. So we went down that way, but we branched off into the woods that way to head toward Cable Green. Now, to me, I didn't know where we were, so I thought it was an exercise. So that's it. And that's how we went. We turned our weapons in with the armor in here too, because we had off the base. So blah blah blah. It's been said by me for 35 years. So like it or lump it. Anyway, so we continue. But I'm going to take you straight because there's no sense going through something that didn't exist then. You know, I wouldn't even be accurate. Thank you. Coming through the woods in there.
Approaching the actual fence of Cable Green now.
You know how Brenda was saying, oh, your tree is gone and all? My tree is still here that I use as a marker. The oak, it's still here. And we'll all be familiar to you once you come up. That's my tree. That big oak hanging out. See that big branch?
Yep.
Up into the field. That's my tree. It's always been here. They just lie all fucking day.
Where's your tree, Larry? Point out to us again.
I will, but we
I
have
didn't.
to go over here. But
Sure.
There's thorns and everything.
Right, you are. Okay, mate. Do you want me to tread? Yeah, follow me, Tina. I'll tread these things down for you.
Oh,
Ooh.
and these will rip you, man.
Go on, off you go. So
Okay.
I think this, obviously, this is impossible and to get into. However, it's a beautiful way to film right here. And clearly, I think this is perfect. This is perfect. Keep it simple.
Is that your tree there? That big tree there?
I'll wait till
hang
you
on
go.
a minute.
Okay.
This is the.
You step back just a little bit,
sure.
and then we've both got the perfect
Yeah,
angle.
I
sure.
think the ground was higher.
Hang on a second. You ready?
Yeah, I'm rolling right now.
I think here we are at Cable Green with the human people fence.
Right.
It could be for the morons, I don't know. And here we are in 1980, about 20 feet from here. We came into the field. There was a 2-strand or 3-strand barbed wire fence that we broke down. I didn't break it down. It had been pushed down. None of this existed. And the fence was further in and was pushed down. And I think the ground was higher, you know, like this field. And what you're seeing, that's the oak tree I talk about that was lit up. It was lit in a way, and it caught my eye, and it's still there. There is the field. And at that time, it was a grass field, because different crops are here and all that. And that's the finger of trees that Peniston and Burroughs talk about straight ahead. Do you see those trees coming toward us? Right?
Yeah, we got them.
Okay.
See that on the map, yeah.
Right. The object that we had on my third night, we're all here, is between, say, see this bush?
Yeah.
Which probably wasn't there. I don't remember it. You go out between that bush and the finger of trees midway in that field. Between that finger of trees, this where the field begins, midway at that angle is where the anomalies are that have been soil and now analyzed 3 times.
Would you say in front of that single
Nope.
power post?
I'm saying, no, absolutely not. What I'm saying is that this bush here represents where I came into the field. You can't get there from here. So we go out in, the fence they had took down, we stepped over it, they had something on it, and we're out in there. There were no vehicles. Gordon Williams, I never said drove in anywhere. No one could have driven. That's where on foot. And that finger of tree, see it coming toward us? I didn't know what it was. I could, between that at an angle, going, say, from that bush, and then go out into the field about midway across that field, heading toward that finger of trees. It was dead center, was where that object I saw was. That the only place that was left physical evidence in these whole incidences, you know, right? And so there you go. And I was right there. I would have stood right in the field I was very close. Bastinza was there. Other people were there. Gordon Williams came in from here, which I did not. He didn't come in a staff car, and he saw this. The cameras were right over there, out in the field though, filming this stuff. The civic cops, which you hear arrive on the whole tape, out in the distance, they came with a klaxon. No, we didn't have sirens like that. They were here, and they had their cameras taken away. Certain people are on record with it. Now they forget about it. And but what I could see at that night, it was clear, it was cold. I'm in shock and outside control. And see how the tree line is, right? Remember, it's December. But you could see that differential at night, right? You could tell there's a tree line there. See the house over there with that window?
Yeah.
That's the house, and that window had a light on the upper floor in that very window. Okay?
These are the people who will not talk to visitors. People I know, people who knocked on the door.
Well, they didn't live there then.
Yeah.
Whoever's there now.
But whoever's there now will not talk to visitors. They
Well,
will
I
not
don't
take.
blame 'em. You know, this is a woods full of morons. You got to be safe. They probably get chickens stolen a lot though.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and maybe their pets have been strangely missing or disturbed. But there were cows out here, and it was a cow field, and they were loose. I don't know why. I'm not a farmer, but that's where that happened. Now that finger of trees plays into Penniston and Burroughs, where Jim touched that craft was over there, and he got that download deal. If I'm getting that right, that's where their big thing happened, in that finger of trees, and which I didn't know. Everyone thinks it's in here, but it's over there on night 1. So everything was happening out here. I want to aim your cameras here. Now, if you imagine all this is going on, and this is very important. There's the farmer's house. Very clear to see, dog barking that night near it. You look how big this field is. Look that way. This field's the same size as it was in 1980. It's probably the terrain has been raised and all that. But look how far out them trees are, right? Well, Holt's party of 5 men were way over there at that end and walked on the left side of that house, crossed the creek behind it, and went to the other farmer's field. You'll love this, because he told Gary this. When they came back through there, way over, where the far end, and would have walked right through this. And quote unquote, what he told a retired detective, he was asked, well, what'd you see? You would have come into all this. And he goes, funny, I don't remember that part. Like I said, folks, we're doing this, and we're also doing a pilot for a new show called Finding Morons. And in this forest, I'll tell you what, they're falling out of the trees. We'll pick it up in a minute. But this is where it happened. I can't go any further with it. There's no sense. But that's the house. This is where it happened to me. When I left, I came back over this rise, which was not, the land was not this piled up. I think the ground's either gone down or who knows. I came back. We were called away, tapped away, back out, and this was all going on where people suddenly forget. Turned back and saw it was still going on. I bodyguarded Gordon Williams on his change of command. I was not a snap. I wasn't picking up things like Holt says. Left fully honorable. I wasn't 3910 unfit for the Air Force. I was, what was the number?
It was either 3510 or 3910, but we'll check.
3910. I was 3910. He called me 39 unfit or whatever.
35.
That's another lie. Everyone likes to, you know, it's a forest and lawn. So, and I hope we might stumble upon maybe the excrement of one. You know, I'm going to take some samples though, because
They produce no shortage of excrement, Larry.
Well, I want to know what kind of species we're dealing with, because it can be terrifying, it can be amusing, but wow, nothing I'd want to run into in a dark whorehouse alley. And so here we go, and this is it. It's always been it. It's the only place out there that has ever produced physical evidence of an anomalous event ever from this whole event and scientists, right? There's the house. Cal got hit by a car allegedly, and the Air Force paid the owners, then owners, and moved the owners away. And Holt stuff, folks, way out in those trees, way over there, man. The other way, man. Over there. That's how far away Holt's party was. And they were way out there, man, you know. He wasn't here, unless he wore aviator glasses, I asked him, and he didn't. You know, I don't care what he says, except when he lies about it. A lot happened out here, and this is where it happened. This is why this fence is here.
Yeah. It seems
It's
unusual.
not to protect the dirt.
I don't normally see fences like this around. You know, in fact, Larry, I very rarely see fences like this around a farmer's field.
No.
This is obviously intended to keep people out. I'm surprised there's not barbed wire on the top. When I came here last time, it was like a green metal grid.
Yeah.
I mean, they've changed it slightly.
did the
Probably people have been going in and having a walk around the field.
Yeah.
The last TV show I think I did here is that they were still building the fence, so we were able to go out and shoot in the field. And that was probably the last show filmed in the field. Right. You want to move on now? Can we go back?
I'm going to have one quick picture.
Okay.
By the field.
This is where it all happened, ladies and gentlemen. This is the culmination of the journey.
Is there anyone standing over that side?
Yeah, there was guys over there too. Yeah, I didn't see the other side of this thing. And it rose up to about 15 feet.
Yeah.
And whether it was on the ground or not, I couldn't tell.
And this is where soil samples were taken from here. Peter took some soil
Exactly.
samples,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
And the object came in from over here.
A red ball light came in. It was one thing and then it became another.
Yeah.
I never saw a UFO. I saw a red ball, amber color light. Size of a basketball, that's all. And then it all went whack-a-boo.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much missing time do you think you had here?
We have up to 14 hours that night. I remember leaving here, and it could have only been about 2 in the morning, going back, and only when Burroughs and I got together, and then Bastenza, he doesn't remember how we got back. I don't remember, because in the book you'll see I skip right back to Central Security Control as the morning, new shift. That's impossible. So in my mind, I might have gone, oh, I just skipped over it. You know, like, well, that's weird, or I never even thought about it. There's a lot, not 14, but there's a lot of missing times, about a number of hours. And yeah, there's a number of hours. Very common. And it's not just me, by the way. And like I said, Holt would have come back when they're heading back to the base and walked right through here, and he told Gary himself. Well, funny, I don't remember that part. Okay.
Strange you forget that bit.
People, you know? That's acceptable. It wouldn't be if I said it.
Ben, will you just take a picture of me leaning in the swile, looking out into the field?
Sure.
That's all.
Sure,
Like
no
I'm
worries,
like
mate,
really
yeah.
mesmerised by it.
Okay, mate,
I
yeah.
am, but that's the point.
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You
Good,
want a
good.
picture with me and you?
Yeah,
with the-
that'd be cool, yeah. Can you take one
Okay,
of
yeah, I'll
both
take
of us?
one of both of you. All right, then.
Just both of us looking out at that.
Right, then.
No, this is too romantic.
No,
That's
just get up to the fucking fence.
lost it.
Okay, okay. Both of you together, ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Great one.
You want? Can I have?
Oh,
one
yeah,
then?
sure.
Yeah.
I'll just switch this on. I'll just switch this off.
Line. That house in there wasn't there, and they were on that side of that house. They
Holt
yes,
was over there.
His small party. They were over here and went to that side of the house. They're far from us over there.
There's that finger of trees there you can see quite clearly.
Yeah, and that involves them, but I didn't do it there. And then there's another field, but the beams all came down. But it's a big field, man. So this is where Holt and them were probably over there. Went in or through here. I think I wasn't with them. I didn't know there were people over it this way.
You
could just see, probably you guys can see it and I can't, but there's Larry's tree over there in the bush. I'm just using the tripod as a sort of...
And that's out there, out here somewhere is where, over there is where Burroughs and ran into the thing and Bastinza fell on the ground.
Yep.
Is out here. And that's the third night, man. You know, I've seen people putting Bastinza now on night 1. I've seen it. And everyone's good with it. Yeah, it's not true.
Spreads confusion.
A lot of people are getting the different nights mixed up.
I mean, they think
Because
I'm the
there's different
They
events.
think I'm Jim now. Look. That's why I'm doing this thing and, you know, doing a book and, you know. But that it's a big field. It was all grass, kind of winter grass then. And the Orford Lighthouse, beyond, see that hill out there?
Yeah.
Just over that crest would be the Orford Lighthouse way up there.
It's so far off, isn't
In the
it?
winter, you can see it a little bit. The actual in the daytime, you
Yeah.
can see the little tower. But it's very small. It's not
No.
relevant to anything.
So what the hell is Ridpath talking about? He says, oh,
Well, that's
he's
his party
highly
case,
trained, he's
isn't it?
highly trained security policemen were confused by a bloody
Well,
lighthouse.
some people play spoons at parties. That's his thing. That's his name. That's he made a name on it.
Yes, exactly. You go to Wikipedia and you hear that bollocks.
You can go to Wikipedia and see a lot of balls.
Yeah. Well, that's I did correct one of the pages, I'm glad to say. What's this? You're entering a clearing. The UFO sculpture is here for all to enjoy. And here is the famous orange squeezer. Forestry Commission created object. And there's Larry there.
I'm feeling symbols from KM, JW, Ed, and I'm feeling them.
Oh wow.
But, you know, this is it, and it's got graffito all over it.
Yeah. Well, this is like I remember the sculpture. Someone who did this sculpture. This is official Forestry Commission creation. This. E.T. was here.
We've got an LW 1980 here.
Really?
Oh, cool.
And
R.I.P.
CH.
Chris.
Take a
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. It's on for RPI Chris.
Who's CH?
And T plus K. Look, TK. And here we have.
CH. Chuck Holt.
Yeah.
LW Chuck Holt. David Young, you can see, was probably trying to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because it really, you know, in the end, it really is Holt and me, the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
And the kiddies wrote all kind of nonsense.
Larry, do you want to mount it? Not literally.
Yeah.
What do you think about the sculpture, its placement?
Well, I can't speak to the placement of this because there's supposed to be where Jim touched the object, and then Holt comes out 2 nights later to investigate this from 2 nights before in the middle of the night, and then goes out on the far side of the field. Now people get maybe a little perspective of the distance and locations, you know. And Bastinza was not on the first night, folks. Now that's starting to be written. It was not the case. But here's the symbols Jim says he touched on here. But, you know, I think it's all right. You know, I like the arts, and it brings, at least it's remembered. It's not the type of thing I've seen, but it ain't too far from it either, you know. And the kids obviously here are defacing it, which I think is a shame, as kids will do. But I noticed one thing here, where is it? LW CH, Charles Holt, Larry Warren, 1980, with a heart. So someone has a sense of humor. And, you know, but I guarantee everyone that wrote on here wasn't even born in the 1990s. So I don't like that, things being defaced. Yeah. And it's good. It's, you know, people come here and discuss, and it is what it is, you know. It's a permanent thing, and I hope they maintain it a little better. To what happened, you know, I guess what happens bigger than us and artworks, at least it's remembered, and that's good.
Cool. The thing they did on that, they had old Joe Squash, the actor, and they picked up EVP.
Oh, that is creepy.
Yeah. Don Phillips is an expert on that. Yeah.
You know, the taping and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you hear people run them in their sleep, and then you, and people are around it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Gareth on mindset happened to him. He picked up some really weird noises.
Yeah, in the bedroom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
His mum's house.
I was anything you see in the papers. I lived in a house for the pure Michelle. She had 3 daughters. They were all like the puberty thing, and that's where these demons. I do believe there were demons.
That's the key age.
People tend to see. It's all around us. I mean, it's this place. And why do people find Bigfoot and prints going on? You know, they have a language. Have you seen Sasquatch, Ontario? And I'll tell you what, they are real. He's been attacked and butchered because the Bigfoot people are as bad as UFOs.
Oh, yeah, even worse sometimes.
But it's that thing has a vocal cord about that long.
Oh yeah, it's used infrasound.
And there were people. It's so far out that you're like, you turn it off. You can't. Yeah. But I believe it. I believe that is true. I told them interview. You know that guy that went up and got the perfect pictures of Bigfoot and they threw logs at him and he had to escape? That's a real Bigfoot looking at him. That's not makeup. There's no way that's makeup. And they altered one that was like an Eskimo. His face actually isn't smooth like that. They fluffed the picture to make it look different. That's not the Eskimo. Hello.
I'll put a link when it's on. I'll put a link through. Oh yeah. That's what they said. That's what Charmaine said. Yeah.
But that's because they fucking put it down and knock it off at the other end.
Yes.
But that's a weird. That's a weird down.
This is what the bloody. Yeah. Yeah. This is what Charmaine Fraser and Neil Arnold and the others say happens. And I mean, just watch my video, Bigfoot in Britain, or the British Bigfoot. I mean, that's really strange, isn't it?
Oh, fucking hell.
Another one. Oh dear. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Larry has some interesting things he wants to show us, and we're going to begin with some photographs. So these are photographs apparently were never taken, and he photoshopped them, of course. But
I'm into it.
yeah, but you'll be quite impressed with his photoshopping skills and the authenticity with which he delivers them. So let's have a look at these. There's loads of them here. So,
and I don't want to show because then none of your business, not yours, but because of certain morons, you just do it to bitch slap them a little, huh? Because the people out there on the internet don't know, and they don't know history, and they're not really bright, really. Not your audience, of course.
No.
I'm a big fan of them.
This is
this is on Bent Waters, and that's me and Greg Battram, who's a witness.
Yeah, there's old Larry there, looking very smart in his dress.
But Colonel Halt says I was, picking up garbage, and some people say I was never in the Air Force. Now again, that was big in the '80s. It's like a revival rock and roll thing, and but that's a special gig for officers. And so I was always doing really sharp details, and look how handsome I am.
Nice 1980s hairstyle, late 70s, early 80s hairstyles there. And
there was really no hairstyles in the Air Force,
uniforms?
but we were good troops, as they say. And that's the events also. I guess they're not relevant, but they are relevant.
This is
I
the
was
same
never
event,
in the Air Force, was I?
Yeah, this is what they're saying. They're saying people say you got through basic training and got kicked out.
That means I never left. I just left Texas and went back to Mama.
Yeah, well, this is what happened to me, and I mean I don't pretend otherwise, but they're claiming that you're pretending otherwise. We're going.
Well, I am.
Yeah, well, there's some things we can't show you today, ladies and gentlemen, which include authentic-looking documents, which prove Larry's story. But this is another picture of the. Now that's an 80s. That's a 1980s hairstyle. Definitely
My story
that
was
woman.
proven 30 some odd years, when I got honorably discharged. But we do it for the new children. That's when I'm leaving for the Air Force in Albany, New York.
That's at the airport there. See Larry on the bench
for basic training.
Yeah, looking a bit, thinking to himself, what's coming now? Because
I had no idea.
Heading off for basic training, it's always a big deal when a young man heads off for things like that. I remember.
Yeah, people that have balls to serve anyway. That's disco night at the club on Bent Waters.
Please note, ladies and gentlemen, the rounded off corners these
Well, they're not
prints.
all rounded off.
No, but I mean,
Yeah,
this is something you don't get nowadays. Look, it's all written on the back there, you see. But you get like these. This is common of photographs taken in that era. You had these rounded off edges. I remember because some of my old baby photos and that. I won't be showing you any of those. They're embarrassing. Even the ones where I've got clothes on.
These are real hard to see, but that's where you were yesterday at the end of the Bentwaters flight line. And those are F4 Phantoms, which have been deactivated for many years.
You see, that's we did show you this area. It's changed beyond all recognition, but that is definitely the end of the Bentwaters flight line. And
Well,
you can see the hangar there in the background and the
Yeah, they're
and the
Phantoms.
aircraft.
They don't use them anymore. They were used in Vietnam very heavily.
There's the
They're called airplanes, folks.
airplanes.
If you
That's
don't
what
know
you
what I
fly
mean.
in them.
These are two guys I worked with, and Fred Smith and George Laws in Security Police Operations.
That was in. Is that in the Security Police Operations building
Yes.
where we showed you where it used to be?
Yeah, where it used to
Yesterday.
be, but that building's gone.
Oh, yeah, there's a. See, there's a. Yeah, there's guys there from
Yeah.
the old ring binder files they had before in the pre-computer age. I remember them well.
They were really hard to Photoshop in because I had to go into Google Earth. I forget his name, but that's some security police guy. I forget his name, and his wife.
Yeah, let's see. So, is that a master sergeant? Is he a master?
Senior master
Senior
sergeant.
master sergeant. There with his missus, and that's yeah, looking very smart for in their dress uniforms and in his dress uniform, and that's a.
This is Ted Conrad getting an award. That's Bruce England, who's part of the incident, Captain Bruce England. That's Lieutenant, it was Tamplin, and then there was, I can't think of her name. That's Lieutenant Baran, who everyone knows, back of his head. It's Mark Reese, who was OSI. That's Carl Drury, you can't see a lot of him. I don't know who this kid is, but that's Ted Conrad. Colonel Holt was at that event too.
Of course, yeah.
So I did special duties and things, a lot, because I was sharp.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up garbage like Holt said.
Yeah, she's the honor guard. It's called.
I did a
Honor
lot
guard,
of
yeah.
that. Yeah, I was an
There's
honor
the
guard.
that's Colonel Conrad is the was the commander of the entire establishment. There's Lieutenant England there. So that's a picture
That's
of him.
That's not. That's Verano, Captain Michael
Sorry,
Verano.
Captain Verano. Yeah, and there's several people you would have heard of in the story.
Or probably
in
not.
the tale, and this is, as you see, these are 1980s hairstyles, definitely.
Well, they're actors, you know. Now
Wigs.
you've heard of Eric Berman, and he was our base police liaison on the base. You know, and this is on the guy on the left is Eric Berman, and the other guy is Danny, who was a law enforcement dog handler. And this is in a place called Loudon Hall, where we used to go and hang out with the woman that owned this big mansion. And so here's real Eric Berman. If you ever hear his, most of you don't even know who I am, so that's fine.
Anyway, that's there we go.
Think of it as whatever you want it to be. So
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
this is me coming back from Amsterdam with two English guys to Harwich, totally hungover.
Oh, that's I remember. I used to travel on that ship too between Harwich and Hook of Holland.
Man.
The Sea Link ferry. That's
Yeah,
right. It's called.
Yeah, I was not
It
doing
was
good.
it was Stena Line. But I had family over there. But, oh God, you do look a bit rough. Yeah.
I was rough, and I was probably seasick also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like a lot of people do when they come back from Amsterdam. They're never in the best of
Yeah,
they're never in the best of
those
conditions.
two idiots I was sitting next to, I don't know what they're. I still remember those guys. They were all trapped on a boat.
They look a bit worse for wear as well. But I remember those ships very well. That's definitely across the North Sea ferry, across North Sea ferry from Harwich to Hook of Holland.
That's exactly right. This is Chris Arnold, who drove John Burroughs out to the forest on third night, and that's him showing his opinion of, probably mine, of ufology too.
Yeah, there he is. He's making his feeling very clear there.
He had a nice guitar.
It's in a law enforcement vehicle there from the US Air Force. So, and there's you can just see the crest there. Look carefully. You can see the crest embossed on the side of the vehicle there on the door.
And that's a Plymouth Valari or whatever. And I wasn't in that show. And this is Amsterdam back in 1981.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
It was not-
Canals of Amsterdam, ladies and gentlemen, they're lovely. Do go if you get the chance. It's gone down a bit hill. It's gone down a bit lately. It's a bit It's a bit rough now, but it's still a lovely city.
We drove right through here yesterday, and this is Greg Battram, Larry Walls, who I went to high school with, the big guy with the brown jacket, and two other guys, I forget their names, are all cops, and that was the day I was leaving.
There we are. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at those old cars. I love those old cars.
I rented them.
They're great. And that you may recognise some of these buildings because they are still there. And we showed you them yesterday. We actually visited the location on Bentwater's base. So, yeah. Right. There will be high definition scans of all these images, which will at least some of which will be available.
That's the sign you stood near yesterday, but that was it back in 1980.
Yeah. That's the same sign. Of course, it's faded. The
See, that
symbols are
picture's
faded.
square, though.
Yeah.
It depends who
Oh,
developed
some of them are, yeah.
It depends who developed them.
Yeah. Oh, there's some they had square ones back then. So you don't get them anymore. I should notice, especially looking at the back, you can see the paper has faded slightly.
Well, I did that.
Because
I did it. I lit a match and went around. I guess that's how you do it.
It looks like aging. It looks like a paper discolouring with age, but you can fake things like that, can't you? According to some people, the morons, you can fake anything almost. You know.
Well, you can't fake this. That was some chick I knew, and that's in our club.
There she is. Oh, she's making her opinions very well known.
Yeah, we had a lot of class on that place.
Definitely, yeah.
Well,
Again, check the hairstyle, ladies and gentlemen. That's definitely from the era. And
I forget what she did. I think I had a moment with her. You know, what the hell? She was a little butch, you know. Anyway, that you drove through here yesterday.
yeah, this is.
And that's back then.
Look at those lovely old cars.
Hey, watch the
And they're
old-
great, yeah. But they're like there's a mini and
They
there's
came
a
with me to back me up.
there's a couple of minis there. I remember the old minis. Yeah,
They were real good brothers. They went through it, except Larry.
yeah. That's
Two other security police, I forget their names.
it's in their nice uniforms again. Yeah, it's been a nice dinner there.
That's one of our armored vehicles, you know, I forget what they're called. And those, see that big arch? That's the hangars being built, some of those bomb-proof hangars you drove by.
That's right. There's the armoured car there and normal car. And that's I don't know what you call that vehicle, but it's one of those rag top ones. But there's the hangars being built on the base.
And here's some were being built, some weren't finished. And that's just another picture of the hangars, some that were finished.
I should tell you that I didn't manage to film it, but we actually managed to drive past some of those hangars. Tino accidentally drove the wrong way, and we actually went right into the Bentwater's base.
Never did I?
And the security
Yeah,
guy.
and the security guard, he was a car chase, it was quite funny.
It was a
He
car
caught us up and he said, "What are you doing here? You're not allowed to go around here, I told you." And Tino said, "Sorry, we went the wrong way." And he says, "All right, you follow me, we'll take you back to the gate." And so we followed him, and guess what? He gave us a mobile tour of the entire area,
Yeah,
and we saw those hangars and everything. Sorry, we couldn't film it,
We
but
even crossed the runway.
Yeah.
That's CSC, Central Security Control. We went by it yesterday. That thing with the barriers, remember I said
Yeah.
that's it? But
this is the.
And it says best in use safe for your police squadron.
Yeah,
which it was.
we saw this building yesterday. We went right past it. It's obviously the inside is now filled up with trees and things like that. It's all overgrown. But that was Security Police Squadron's headquarters there at Bentwaters with the armoured walls. Distinctly, that's definitely the place.
This is me and some unknown guy with a bad tash, with the senior enlisted man in the U.S. Air Force, senior enlisted guy in Europe, and this is me during the honor guard. We didn't wear bow ties unless you're invited to a special event, and Holt was there and all. So when the story about me picking up garbage and being some not fit for military service, which he lied about even that, I was honorably. They didn't just give you honorable discharges. And that's me at that event.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
That was me at that event.
It's all right. There we are. That's definitely Larry. Is that Oh, that's the senior enlisted man there.
In Europe.
Yeah, in all of Europe. Yeah, so he's head of the
He was the top enlisted guy. I don't remember his name.
equivalent of the coxswain or whatever in the Navy.
He would be,
And there
yeah.
is some.
Yeah.
And there's the guy that's definitely a 1980s kind of moustache there next to, on the guy beside you.
That was so hard to rent. I couldn't find. I said, "Give me a
You had
nice."
to use a caterpillar.
It was, and we did. We found one. This is a bunch of us, security flight, and security police at Rocky Horror Picture Show on the base.
Oh, right.
Having a good old time because when we were off, we were off.
I tell you, that's a great movie. I reacted very similarly when I saw that film.
But that was
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
yeah, that went down well.
And it says on the back, this paper is manufactured by Kodak. On the back. And again, you got to credit. I mean, the movie industry should hire you for getting these
I wish
details
so,
right.
yeah.
The hairstyle and the clothes and things like that,
Well,
and the
you know,
moustaches.
You got to know people.
If you're ever making a movie set in the early 1980s, get this guy on your special effects team on your wardrobe.
Or if you need a Mona Lisa, I can make that happen. That's Crash McCabe. That's on the base. He's,
Check out those flares, blimey. And those cars behind, those lovely old cars.
really
There's a
fun.
Volkswagen Beetle there, see? And look at those flares on those jeans, man. You don't get that nowadays. Yep. He'll be heading off to disco. Putting those platforms and going disco in.
That's what that was before us. That was a friend of mine, Jim Harper, who drove us that day when I took a certain picture.
Yeah.
And that's our uniform for security police.
Yeah. He looks like he's seen something quite amazing in the sky,
He
which
was
is
happy.
Which is ironic, yeah. Considering what happened next.
That's Mike Verano, captain. You hear about him. Major Drury. People you can't see, that won't matter to you people because you don't even you weren't born at all anyway. But that is Ted Conrad again, giving him something.
That's at the base where Larry was on a guard. So
Yep, it was.
and there's
Mike Verano.
yeah.
He's the guy on the CNN that said, I drove the commander to the base in the Jeep, and he handed film over. And that's Mike Verano. Of course, I made that up just now. But I like doing that. This is me heading into the club to rock and roll.
Yeah. Hey.
The fashion was wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. That's definitely Larry in it.
No, so it looks like my son.
He does. Yeah. You can see the family resemblance. He does take after you. He really does.
This is Rick Bertolino. You ever hear of him?
I've heard the name. Yeah.
Well, that's him at the very end, kind of lit bad. And he's the one that saw Penniston's Notebook. And Rick's the one I flew over with. And this, we're a lot of D-Flight guys, and that's at Rocky Horror.
Right. Ah, that's it. Good. All having a great time there.
We did.
It's a great movie.
This is inside our armory in the in the weapons store and in the Central Security Control.
No shortage of, if you ever wanted to attack that base, you wouldn't get very far. Look at that. That's what you'd have to face up to. That's what they do. So it shows how important those bases were. They were very well protected, and Larry was part of the team that protected them.
Absolutely, because this is what we did to train. That's at Fort Sam Houston in Texas, and that's Air Base Ground Defense Training. And there we are in the field.
Yeah, and there's a guy. I assume he's playing dead. He's not really dead.
No, not really dead. They didn't let us kill. Yeah, we trained.
You had to prepare in case you did. Yeah.
That's the vehicles we went out into the woods in that night. I rode in the back of that.
The pickup trucks, the famous pickup trucks. I don't know what you call them in this country. It's just sort of like trucks. We just call them. But,
The problem is
yeah,
two
open
different
top.
countries trying to describe the same thing.
Yeah, open top trucks. We call them. But that's on the Bentwaters base. Let's see.
And this is another picture of the armory. These were no pictures back then.
Armory. It says on the back. This paper manufactured by Kodak. Yeah.
Yeah, some has it, some don't. It depends where. I think some of these I developed the film after I got home, even as late as 1982, or 82. You know. So this is where you were yesterday, looking down at where we met the old lady.
That's right. This is facing the junction, which you saw yesterday, where that old lady Yvonne was. You might recognise those buildings there. Those buildings are still standing, and we were just in front of them. There's a line of trees in front of them, but you may recognise those same buildings. And of course, there's the dorms, which are now all gone.
With the bad just even in there.
In there, yeah.
I was working the armory that day and I snapped my camera. This is out my window down on where we met the old lady. You can see.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's those pictures are 37 years ago.
Yeah.
Find a bit of humour in.
And there's you can see that they're building those houses now. They're in the process of building those houses that we saw, where people are living in, still living in today. There we are. And then you recognise that's the junction where that, and the old lady lives just down behind us, behind the where Larry was taking the photo. That's out of Larry's window.
And that was my room.
There's a little room. There's rudimentary TV, radio. And you shared you had a bunk bed with another guy.
Yeah, that room, I didn't like him. I forget his name.
Oh, it's not easy being bunked up with a guy you don't like.
Yeah.
But just a single glazed window there, and just one radiator, and that's the shelf on which you wrote the famous letter, I believe.
To my mom, yeah.
Yeah, he was just sitting by the shelf with you, looking out the window.
Just looking out the window, right?
Yeah.
I remember doing it. And this is the second floor of my dorm. Not Adrian Bastinza's dorm. That was 2 buildings away. People want to keep saying that. That's fine. I was there. You weren't. But the old lady, when she went upstairs, she would have been here. In that's our upper deck of the dorm.
Yeah. That's where that old lady lives now, and that's where her bedroom is, upstairs on the same location, new building, same location as Larry's old room in the dorm.
Yeah.
Security police dorm hallway.
So that's
at the top.
weird.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity, huh?
Again, that was a really amazing experience meeting that old lady.
This is one I'm really proud of because, our uniforms, they changed, at that time. And because they're very 60s at that time, so this is like a picture I treasured before they had changed. And so we're really proud of it. And it was a good thing.
Live long and prosper, Larry.
It was good for our morale.
Beam me up.
And the women were green and everything was great.
Oh, that green girl, she used to blind me. I used to have the hots for her when I was a kid.
That's for another time, that story.
Now,
I won't tell you about that, yeah.
Now this, with all I won't tell you why that waiter's looking at me like he is. But anyway, especially with MUFON and all.
Let's just say he looks very handsome in his uniform.
No, actually, it wasn't that. It was a friend said, say something, and the timing was weird.
Awful.
Yeah. So if I was in MUFON, I'd be in trouble too. But we were young and dumb. If you get what I'm saying there, we'll leave that one alone. But didn't I look handsome? Anyway, this is a security police barbecue near the weapons storage area.
There we are. We saw the old weapons storage area too, where and there's that line of trees which I showed you, and someone set up a marquee, very very nice thing to do on a summer's day, and
Skip around right there.
yeah.
Okay.
We did drive past that, and we on our little impromptu tour. So that's where they held or may not have held a certain kind of ordnance.
No, they did. They had
They
nuclear
did, yeah.
weapons there.
The biggest arsenal in Europe.
That's me outside Central Security Control
There's old Larry.
when I'm picking up garbage. Yeah, right.
Punishment duties there, see.
Yeah,
He's got his overalls
bullshit.
on.
There's no such thing. It never happened.
Nice motorbike at the back. That was. Look at that. That's an antique, that is.
It's another picture of me picking up garbage and being punished.
Look at this dirt on his hands, yeah.
That took a lot of work to put my head on someone else. Some of these are no one's business. This is why my back is bad.
Is that you?
No,
Oh, is that you? Oh,
that's Dennis.
that's Dennis on top of you. Oh, Dennis.
Yes.
Oh, that's little
Right,
Dennis.
cowboy.
Yeah.
Right.
Dennis is now a strapping young lad who's he's taller than me now, and so oh bless him.
Yeah, he used to. That's
He's
right.
cute.
He's the
He's a
best.
cutie.
And this is a good friend of mine, Larry Walls. I went to high school with him. He was a little older, and he was a champion boxer, and eventually went to pararescue.
Yeah.
And had my back after those incidents. This is a little honey from Montreal I met once,
Ooh,
here in
very
1982.
Oh, she's nice, isn't she?
She was.
Yeah.
Darlene McDonald was her name. This is on the base, another picture that inside the main entrance where you were.
Right, we'll we see. This is all overgrown now, as we showed you yesterday. But this is actually the part of the entrance to the headquarters base there. You see. Yeah.
Kind of a useless picture from Woodbridge. See, that one doesn't have the Kodak film and all.
Woodbridge base? No, it doesn't. That's definitely an photo there of Woodbridge, which we saw as well. I've never been on Woodbridge. I think it's still an MOD facility, but we saw it from the outside.
Some pictures here. This is an OSI guy that was following me around after the incidents.
Right.
Who looked?
Not a mate of Richard Doty's, perhaps.
He was a snake.
Yeah. Pretty well. So if you see that guy anywhere, watch out. If he turns up at UFO conferences, keep him at arm's length. Be wary.
It's only 40 years ago. See this one again. Nothing on the back, but that's Bent Waters. And it was springtime.
You can see that was when it was an active base, but you can imagine, you can maybe recognise it from when we were there yesterday, with the same fence line there with the old
I feel like telling.
chicken wire fence.
Okay, you were here yesterday. None of this is in order. That's the big hangar you went by, and I told you, as we came on to Bent Waters. Remember?
Yep, I do. Yeah, we saw that yesterday, just inside the entrance. And there's a lovely old Volkswagen Beetle. Don't make them anymore.
No, that's their original post office.
That we went past that. We filmed.
Yeah, that
definitely.
That
Yes, I remember
building's
that.
gone, but that's where I mailed that letter to my mom.
Yeah, of the old Quonset hut there. Yeah, and I recognise that from that area from yesterday.
This is fun. That's Major Ziegler, our chief of security police. That's Jim Peniston, his back, and that's Sergeant Farias on his day off. And that's the back of Jim Peniston. That's Mel Ziegler. Some of these are.
So you were familiar with some of these people. Was that at the barbecue?
Yeah, I worked for them. I'm with them. Your audience out there. I bet they're not.
But you recognise those buildings behind as well. I recognise them.
Well, these are kind of fun. Won't mean much to anybody probably. This day I'm flying home, my good brothers. See, I have my badge and medals on. I left as a full security policeman.
That's Larry. Heading home after you quit with honours. You had an honourable discharge.
I didn't quit at all. They breached it.
Yeah. You had an honourable discharge.
I had no fucking option. Yeah, I had an fully honorable discharge. And it was a breach of contract, and I was tricked. They said, go out, come back in, go into a different AFSC job. And it was just to get me out. Because I was more threat in than out, right?
That's a dirty trick they've done to people at my hospital, yeah.
Oh, right. So it's not Very much down here is Colonel Holt. Okay, so our whole base command, that's Lee Swain, who Holt says doesn't know how to spell his name. That's him, Lee. And this won't mean anything to your audience, because there are a lot of kids probably, huh? And that's the command. And this is Charles Holt way down there at the end. They made him go to the end of the table. He's probably such a stunningly interesting dinner guest.
There we are, high table at the party. There's Colonel Holt at the end there, sort of like staring down at his meal, dissecting his fish and chips there.
Yeah.
There's the command structure and their wives.
This is, I thought this would be fun. This is May in 1997, down in Cheltenham, and Peter, and my good buddy, the comic book writer, John Hanson. And look how,
Is that him?
That is John Hanson, and that's old Peter. Look at Pete, my old buddy, my old pal, so that's fun, huh? So John, at least I can date pictures correctly, you see. You have it wrong in your comic book.
How about that? Is that John? My goodness me.
Well, we were all younger then.
Well, I don't recognise him. I mean, I can recognise you two, but not Not John. He looks nothing like he does today. Oh my goodness.
I'm sure he was still the same inside though. Anyway, so we'll now this is going to bed soon.
I'll deal with it.
Okay. This, well, first of all, I took the pictures of the main gate. I have the, you've seen those pictures, you've been there, and I tested the new camera I have, the camera, right? And I had 2 sets of pictures made. You know, they give you, you know, you're not going to say I'll have one set, you get doubles back then. But if you weren't alive, you don't even know what film is, but that's how it rolled then. So, we went out to Ipswich. I've been through the whole story a billion times. And we went, and it rained that day, the night of the 3rd night. It was sunny in the morning, then got rainy in the afternoon, then got really clear and cold at night. So there was a lot of ice on the ground, you know.
British winter time.
So we were on this little trek. So I took the first 2 pictures. I took the next, and then I took this one near Woodbridge, on the base, out the window of the car.
You're familiar with this one, I think. Enough said. We've discussed this in enough detail. It's the famous A10 photo.
And that just has a glossy. I think we had 2 sets. The negatives are long gone. Yeah, okay.
There will be a proper scan available of this.
And this, yeah.
It's in the film.
And this is as is it? And then we're driving. We're driving that day. Yeah.
Bury St Edmunds. We went in. We were in this area ourselves.
Well, I wasn't there. We were. It was just signs to get there.
Yeah.
And this is from the cars. The same day, same thing.
That's
And the weather got bad that day. It was raining. So
Very similar to yesterday.
Yeah, to yesterday.
Yeah.
The raindrops on the windscreen there. So you can see the raindrops there.
And this is the British Police Suffolk Constabulary.
Good old-fashioned British number plate on that car. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember those old police vans. Those big police Land Rovers.
This is in Ipswich. This is in Ipswich. The cop doesn't look happy.
No. I don't think I'd be if I was out on that day, on a wet, cold day.
And then it got better though. The weather was like 4 different things happening. And that's in Ipswich. That's the day of the incidents.
This is just the day before, yeah.
The day
That
of
night,
the incident,
yeah.
that night, yeah.
That night is when it all happened.
Yeah. And this is coming from the bay, back to the base or whatever I did. I don't remember where it is. It's all the same day. And hoochie coochie, there you go.
I love those old cars. The Royal Liver Friendly Society on. There we are.
This is Larry Fawcett, right? Because I provide him a lot of pictures. That's Larry writing landing site. He just assumed it's just a picture we shot in my friend Dean's house. The guy with the car you looked at.
Yeah.
So, so Larry had these in 82, around the beginning of 83,
Okay.
and then returned. And that some of his notes are on the back, like he was misidentifying things. And there's probably more in here of that. There's a lot of irrelevant pictures, but I have a lot more. But here's the normal. This is they talk about.
Yes, important.
Okay, the main gate. Also in the morning, I buy the pictures. I buy the camera, the Keystone 110, and I started taking pictures. See how this is? Look at this main gate. It's square. It's square. That's and it's from the same roll. It's from the same. So some are round, some I don't know why and how pictures work then.
No, it's just all.
So and this is 28 something.
But that's the main gate, and it says alert condition, and that's just after I bought the camera, and then the weather was turned totally different than that.
That was.
And that's saying the sign, Halt says the sign always says alert. Well, here's proof that it doesn't, unless you're in alert.
Yeah,
because here's me at the same sign when conditions were normal.
No, see? It's all on the sign there, alert status
And that's in
normal.
the spring.
Yeah. And that is the same place, same sandbags there, and the same guard shack there. So it's where we were looking in, where it's all overgrown now, by that parking place.
Yeah.
That's basically where that
And you can
entrance
tell
is.
that's winter time here. That isn't a summer picture at all.
Yeah. You can tell by the vegetation.
Well, that pole is right behind that one. Just different angle of taking the picture. So there's the A10, right? And
Yeah.
it's from the same series. It's the same.
That's right, yeah.
So I didn't have to take pictures of a screen of anything.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it's disinformation. We're trying to fight a person that's insane. So
Yeah.
usually they say you lock them up because you don't win with crazy people. Do you?
That's it. So I hope you find that interesting, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
sorry, we're still
Are
on
we,
the.
are we still on the photos? Are we still on more?
Well, not really. I
Do you
mean,
want me to
some
take
of
a
them
break?
some aren't their business. So,
Sure. We
no
don't. Should we
offense.
no, we won't show all of them to you.
Yeah,
We're just going
I'm
to
not
take a break.
on trial, am I?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we now are going to go through some newspaper clippings, which Larry, this is a special little album that Larry has here, which is the UFO News Clipping Services,
Yeah.
and it includes some very
It's from the
interesting
80s,
ones.
they
Yeah.
did those. Lucius Farish in Arkansas used to provide this way before the internet, and he would get UFO articles from the newspapers from across the country somehow. He'd have them sent to him, I guess, and then he'd compile this, and every month or so he'd mail them to people's houses. Not email, mail them.
Yeah.
And that's how things were done.
You won't remember, ladies and gentlemen, but there was a time when you actually put things in envelopes and put stamps on them.
Yeah.
But this is a piece. So this is a very, very important piece of UFO history here.
Yes, it is.
And the first one is, well, this is, I think, the most famous news article ever written about the Rendlesham Forest Incident.
And the
You-
most misleading.
Yes, this is a UFO lands in Suffolk, and that's official. It's from News of the World in October the 2nd, 1983. Now, you remember when this came out, because
I do.
you were instrumental in getting all this published,
I
weren't you?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I had nothing to do with the News of the World.
No.
We got the Halt memo out. I did, with cause.
That's what you did, yeah, that's what you got
I
out.
did that. I got in the '83, and also the tape. But I got that out. So the News of the World, we used a little clip, and here's a drawing I did in 1982, which is in this at Betty Andreasen's house. And that became kind of a famous image until the Peniston time machine thing. And so they cut that out and put that one in. But history is rewritten all the time.
Yeah.
And this is the News of the World thing with certain people. In my book, I mentioned that I did talk to them. It was such a non-important thing for me because, number one, I didn't want my name used. I never used the name Art Wallace, even though they use it in here and the Japs did. And because ufology loves its intrigue. And I was just trying to protect me and my family at that time. So in this, so I've read my interview, and a few years ago, someone asked me about the News of the World, and I said, I talked to them for 5 minutes, right? To me, 34 years later, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, but it was not long, fine. So I've read that interview, and I'm pretty cool with it, because that's how I was being protective then, and it was very accurate on most of it, and then I was being protective, no lies in it, and they're making a big deal, just like Linda Moulton Howe's thing, her and Burroughs tried to lay on old Peter Robbins, saying I said I made it all up. Turns out it was one of the best interviews I'd done in my early years. So this is all the lies, people, there are. And so the document was sent to Jenny Randles, Brenda, and Dot, and this crooked lawyer, Harry Harris, who sold it. And for megabucks at that time, mega pounds. I'm happy Doc got a little bit out of it, but the lawyer got it all and sold this. And I got it out. I didn't take a penny from it. I was offered $5,000 from the National Enquirer
whoops, earthquakes. And I didn't take a penny on it. It wasn't my name on it. So, but I got it out. I got the Halt memo. I got the events out, man. I am the guy that did that, and that's the way it is. So this came out, and it was someone I knew in Boston, actually, because they sold that in Boston, Mass. And that was where it launched in England. And of course, I came out in '82, and then in March of '83, I'd already been working with Larry Fawcett from about the autumn of '82. I put it later recently, it was actually about October '82, till about March of '83 is when the Omni magazine thing came out, and I've seen the internet chuckleheads saying I came out after that. No, I was public already. I was just surprised to see, that's when I knew, hey, somebody's talking about this in England now. Because it was just rumors here. The real whistleblowers are the guys that lived it, come out and take the risk. Not people that hear things. My mother heard about it before any of you. From me.
You sent her a letter. That's right.
Well, I did, and she wrote back, and that predates the Halt memo by a week. And that's it. And, you know, you get all these fame whores and junkies that keep rewriting for you young folks, you people that believe everything you see on the internet. Well,
that's why those old articles like this, old pre-internet original scrapbooks and books. You know, I always say to people, read the old books. If you see an old book about mysteries and paranormal in a charity shop, pick it up, because it has information in it that is left out of newer. History has changed; it's rewritten continuously, and none more so than in the Rendlesham Forest Incident. So this document predates all the crap you've heard.
Well, here on the state side, and this is during the Hudson Valley UFO overflights in the early '80s, and I went with Larry Fawcett, police lieutenant, and Betty Andreas and her husband Bob, and we went down to Brewster, New York, which is just out of New York City, Westchester, and we did and there were 1,000 people there that seen all these triangles. And I was talking to somebody on the lawn, because I'm not a fame whore, but I was talking to somebody, and then more people started listening, and I'd already been known, and this was being researched by Cause and all, for quite a bit of time at this point. And this is the day I met Peter Robbins, and as more people came, the press came over, and I had this huge crowd around me. I kept repeating it. And this is an article, and it's how many years? 84? How many years?
34 years. 34 years.
So 34 years
34 years, yeah.
33 to 34 years.
Yeah, well, older than some of you. And it's exactly what I say now. You always hear I changed my story, really? I've said the same thing from day one. The only thing I did is I held back on some things until it was suggested by other guys that lived it. And then I said, okay, because you get tarred and feathered back then for saying certain things. And it mentions in here about, I get accused saying 200 people were out there on our nights. Actually, what I said, and always have said, is upwards of, and it says it in this article, 200 people on duty that night between the two bases, some of which were affected negatively by, I'm not quoting because I can't find it again, but that's me, but it's in here, and it's the historical record. But a lot of people that jump up and down are what, internet trolls, that kind of thing. You probably might not even been born back then. You're not the people I'm reaching anyway. The people that think and read and are intelligent, they're okay with me.
The accusation is that there were 200 people in Capel Green.
That's never,
the accusation. It's not
it's
true.
It's just like Gordon. It never was said by me. It's clearly 30.
Can I show this to the viewers?
Yeah, and that's me in that picture. That's a press picture.
There it is. And I know it looks a bit like Night of the Living Dead, but that
sure
is
does.
Larry there. Date there, August 29th, 1984. This is an original clipping. And there, you can see there's the whole article. Pause and read it if you want. And there you are. That's the article
and that's
Larry
the day
wrote.
I met old Peter, and I met Timothy Good, and Doc Alan Hynek was there. I met him that day.
And it says here, observing that as many as 200 plus personnel who were on duty that night had been threatened. If there were 200 people in the field, there'd be nobody left to look after the base.
It doesn't say that were with in the incident. It was just, and that's what I was saying. Upwards of 200 were manning the two bases.
Exactly. They were. Some of them weren't involved.
The majority were. And in fact, the majority of people on our bases probably did not know anything happened. And again, imagine, this circle of correcting has gone on for heading on near on 40 years. And it will continue because every new generation, everyone creates nowadays their own little thing. And if you correct them, they probably call you a racist. I don't.
Yes, yes, they do.
You know, the Antifas wear the mask. The internet folks hide behind the keyboard. You know?
It's very similar. It's very similar.
It's the same thing. And then they're the victim when you correct them. You know, it's. I'm not from that generation. Then again, I served my country. And what's the other one? You know, the big famous one. There's certain ones doing that. I only finished basic training.
Yeah, that's what they're claiming.
And then that means I would have just finished in Texas and been sent home.
Yeah.
Because you have to go to your actual AFSC after that. And I'll let you guess what that means. And that's your training for that. And then you go off to your first base. So I never was in the Air Force, really. I was only basic, and then I washed out.
That's what they're claiming. They're claiming you're not a veteran.
Wow.
And all of your documents,
all my certificates, my discharges, I created them.
You faked them. That's what they're claiming.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, we can't show you all of them today for various reasons. But we actually, I've seen them.
They're all in my book, actually.
Yeah, I've seen the originals, and they exist, and they are.
My son has my honorable discharge.
The honorable is authentic.
And Holt, of course. I mean, they're controlled. All the military record that I stole is controlled documents. We've already destroyed. Well, we're about to. The medical records, like I made them up. They're controlled, but there's more documents to that document than these idiots are aware. Yeah. And you know, the problem is, why aren't they in the book? Well, Peter and I were pressed to just get the incidents about it. It's not really about me. Yeah. But now these people have made it all about me, man. And you know what? Zippity-doo-dah, it's done. We, as you know, am I right to say, all these controversies they've created, pretty much from what you know by now, are non-starter.
It's a clean sweep. We've got rid of all of them.
Yeah.
And please,
just don't know it yet.
Yeah. Please do watch her Panwo voice, because there's going to be an update, and hopefully it'll be the last I'll have to talk about this particular issue.
Me too.
But it's all we're both fed up with it. We're all, and so is Tina, Larry, Gary. We're all fed up with talking about
Rendlesham, Bentwaters, the people that have attached to it.
Yeah. But literally, it's about
the witness.
to put to
I could care less about most of it.
But I mean, you've seen, we've shown you hopefully enough in this particular film, which should convince you, and there's a lot. There's more to come. No, well, keep your eye on panwo-voice.blogspot.com, because there's going to be an update very soon. We are.
There's
going to be a proper examination of these artifacts. These
artifacts. They're so old. They are artifacts.
Well, they're yellow.
They're like
I mean, they look
papyrus.
yellow. They're like yellow and thin,
like my liver.
Which is what happens to paper when it's old. Every old paper, well, old paper does this. It's a chemical reaction.
Old people do it.
Yeah, it's caused by. The Skoll experiment talks about it. It's caused by, was it lignin? Lignin is a chemical which is in paper, and it oxidizes over time, and it's a chemical reaction which creates this yellow colour, which is why old documents. You can see it in this. This is lignin oxidizing.
Yeah, just stop the old thing. You know, I used to like you.
Sorry, young chap. Sorry. So I hope you found that interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anything else you want to show us in this little clipboard or clip pack, or have you covered the most important things?
Why not?
Let's see some other articles are in there.
Well, there's not article in this. That's what we're doing.
Well, we'll have a look at a few other things as well. Yeah.
So we like to share with all the open-minded, smart folks out there.
And I do have those among my viewers, don't worry.
Some of my favorite headlines, of course you do, I know. Here are some old headlines that happened in England about Rendlesham, and this is from 1983, October. There's Dot and Brenda out in the woods,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
and the forest exploded with blinding light. The Airman story. I'm the Airman, but they did change it a lot, and that's from Bob Smith in New York. And that's my famous drawing, which who knows where that ever ended up. The Guggenheim, maybe.
There's a better
I never
image
finished
there.
that. I never finished that actual drawing because the sphere of light came across Betty Andreasen's coffee table. And if you ever contact her husband, Bob Luca, he will confirm it. They were the first people outside my family I talked about this with in the fall of 1982. It's all covered in the book, because the book is the real story of how these incidents came out, so you good people would know about it and be so militant about getting to the bottom of it. Sorry.
You're all right, Larry.
Something's in my throat.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, disdain. Now, Brenda and Dot's first witness. Here's Dot and here's Brenda. Okay, they look like children.
Yeah,
don't
they're
they?
young men. Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Not
were.
that they look old and anything now. Just
Here's the good one. Bentwater's UFO, simply a lighthouse,
oh,
paper
good
says.
grief. What's the date on that?
That would be October 10th, 1983.
Oh,
This was big news in your country. And that was where Ian Ridpeth first started his spoon-playing party piece, The Lighthouse. And he seems like a nice
This is
guy compared to the
pathetic,
rest of them nowadays, huh?
Yeah.
Here's the Admiral of the Fleet, Peter Hill Norton, who became a good ally of mine.
Yeah, good guy.
He took our book on the floor of House of Lords, The Sinister Plot to Hush Up the Truth. The papers loved this stuff back then. Now, one of my all-time favorite article in ever is Bug-Eyed Alien Meets Air Chief. And I always thought t-shirts would be good about
That is just so...
UFO fever strikes again.
That's just so typical British tabloid, that
Oh,
is.
totally. Well, like this one, with the news of the world, it says, it said the odds of this happening were as good as Elsie Tanner getting into a nunnery. That was one. And then could all the fantastic light display be Boy George doing a practice session in the forest for the UFO enthusiasts?
Most people, Elsie Tanner, Boy George, Google it, guys. I know most of you are too young to remember.
My friend Mark Wardell designed Boy George's logo. He's a fine artist in London, and we love him. But anyway, you know, these are very ancient times. Truckers duck a convoy, aliens, you know. Stan Gordon, the big famous Bigfoot guy, look, and I bet he'd like to see a young picture of a young.
I thought that was Nick Pope after he put on some weight.
That Nick Pope was still in high school when all this happened.
I'll show that up. Can I show this a bit closer to the camera? Is that all right?
Yeah, well, you know the Cash Landrum thing happened my same night, who I knew them too.
Let me show that to the viewers quickly.
Yes, anything. Please.
There you go. Let's show you that picture. You can pause and read it if you want. Bug-eyed alien there, and I'll just show them the Brenda Butler one.
Anything,
With
yeah,
Brenda.
Brenda and Dot.
There's Dot and Brenda. A youthful Dot and Brenda, or more youthful.
You can scan all these.
Yeah, and
We talk about him in the book.
there's a great man, Lord Hill Norton. He was on the organising committee of NATO. He's a former Admiral of the Fleet, Chief of the Defence Staff.
Head of NATO.
On the organising committee for NATO when it first came
really?
about. Yeah, he wasn't a loony. He wasn't some nut job.
Crazy man.
You know, he was one of the most sanest people who ever existed because of the very nature of his job. But then we've got some more stuff to show you. So back in a sec. We're just going to read out a letter now. I'm not going to show it. I'm not going to actually show it to the viewers, but just change the frame slightly so we don't get any of it.
Well,
But
this is a great thing on lies, man. You know, because
Yeah,
we're
we are.
forgetting
But this is interesting. This is interesting thing.
who the liars are, other than the trolls. Well, this Larry Fawcett was the original American research on Bentwater's incidents, not Rendlesham. It wasn't called that. And this is a letter he wrote to the 81st Bentwaters Combat Support Group, USAFE, on 28 April 83, because I've been working with him since 82. And that's him, his address, he's deceased now. But this is what you get. This is a response to Larry from the Department of the Air Force at Bentwaters. It said, reference your letter dated April 8th, 1983, requesting information about unknown aircraft activity near RAF Bentwaters. There was allegedly some strange activity near RAF Bentwaters at the approximate time in question, because I was providing the info for all these, but not on land under United States Air Force jurisdiction, and therefore no official investigation was conducted by the 81st TAC Fighter Wing. The records you requested do not exist. This is before the whole memo even came out, because we were looking for it. The British sent it out. That's why they left the Air Force looking with egg.
Yeah.
Regarding the other statements in your letter, no photos of the alleged craft were taken by the Air Force. Yes, they were, and
Yes.
I own one. Also, and that's one no one's getting near, Also, there was no requirement under the Freedom of Information Act to create a record for the purpose of fulfilling requests. I can assure you that if there were such records, we would provide them to you. Henry Cochran, Colonel USAF, Wing Commander. That's the biggest lie in history, this one. Biggest lie.
Yeah.
Some of these are irrelevant for your good folks. This is when I had to take legal action on Colonel Holt in to keep him, stop slandering me. Though it says, making knowingly fallacious statements, and this guy's Attorney General of Vermont now, made in presence of numerous blah blah blah. Bottom line, it says you have a right to express your opinions, you have a right to slander. And some people out in internet land should figure that out, because I'd take you to court. I'm taking a few. They don't know it really. I guess they can't accept it. Chuck DeCaros, some of this is my original co-author, which wasn't for me, nice guy. This is about me trying to get a report to Alan Hynek. That's how long what it says about Close Encounters. I have a beard just like him now. But, John Timmerman, Willie Smith, oh my God, those ancient history. But this is in '85. Both Dr. Hynek and Dr. Smith have become extremely interested in the case because of meeting and talking with you at the Mass MUFON forum in Beverly, and urged me as an intermediary to get your written report to them as soon as possible. I feel remiss. That's because by then I wasn't trusting a single soul in ufology and should have walked away from it all back then, but I didn't. But look at all the lovely people I eventually met.
This is. I want to show this to the
this
viewers.
is kind of fun. These are in my book, if you ever read it, and you should. Don't care what the co-author thinks about it. It's my story anyway. He didn't live it. He just shouted it. And he did a great job. There's a chapter when I'm flying on the last day of November into the morning of the 1st of December to England for my base. See, well, I couldn't have been kicked out of the Air Force. Texas would have been it. Well, when I landed in England, this is on the back is old computer sheets. Ben can show you.
Oh yeah.
And it talks about assignment of sponsors. So when you get to a new base, they have someone to meet you and kind of introduce you to the basics of here's where you live, there's where the shops are. And I never met the guy. He never showed up. He didn't show up.
We have the same thing at my hospital.
Yeah.
It's called a buddy. He's the guy who basically
My buddy didn't even show up.
gives you orientation. Yeah,
He
gives
didn't
you
even-
orientation. Yeah.
He must have forgot about it. But this prepared September 18th, 80 to Airman Warren Lawrence P. We won't show those numbers, okay, because they're like NI. And as requested, and this is for me coming to Bentwaters,
Yeah.
And, it talks about, here's some historic things. Gasoline on our base was $1.85 per gallon. It was £2.85 per gallon then for you guys.
Seems ancient history, this, isn't it? Like, can you imagine it being that cheap? I bet you that any of the local civilians who had access to the base, they would find some excuse to go there and fill up, wouldn't they?
Well, the pound of the dollar back then was the currency exchange rate. This is in 1980, in September of '80. Currency exchange rate $2.45 equals 1 British pound.
Nostalgia City.
So, this is all authentic and real, and this is Privacy Act and September something. Anyway, in the book I write, and on the flight over, I drew some strange works of art on my orders. This is the actual, real, authentic set of sheet orders. They're not really orders, but they are. Everything's in order. And I drew, these are the strange stuff, and there's a lot of strange things in it that now you could go, that's odd. Though clearly that's my old band. I'm thinking, why did I quit rock and roll? But you're almost looking like guys with the pine trees. Our last big gig was an amphitheater, and there were pines all around it, and and the stage and the lights. But it looks like and there is the triangle with the two circles, and this is what you could purport to be UFOs, and a nuclear explosion, a lot of Viet Cong, because that was the mentality.
The helicopters, Apocalypse Now, the huts. I mean, that was the war footing. We were our uniforms were Vietnam era, guns, M16s, and then the peace sign shattered. I was thinking 8 days later, John Lennon's getting hit after I drew this. He had only had 8 days to live when I drew this.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
So there you go. And that's the actual thing I talk about in the book, which I'm going to get framed eventually because that needs to be. That's just part of my history.
Yeah. First of all, I'll just hold it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But first of all, I could just point out that this 1980s computer paper with the little rings at the side and the stripes, I recognise it because at this point in 1980, my dad was working for an engineering firm in West Wales, and he used to bring this stuff home from the office. Because I was a little kid back then, but I used to love to draw pictures like all little kids do. And I had crayons, I had colour pencils and felt tips. And he used to bring this old computer paper and they were going to throw away.
That looks like a little kid did do that.
Yeah, and I did. But these are the images now. I'll just show them. I'll just put put something back behind it so nothing's.
Yeah, it's really weird now that I look at it. And there's a G, but it was like a 9, and Lennon got hit on the 9th in England.
Yeah, as you see here, these are various things. These are the Vietnam War images here. You got there's the Viet Cong.
Viet 4 years after Saigon fell.
Yeah, M16 rifle. Yeah, this is a long time. But there's the Apocalypse Now images. Now the peace sign getting shattered. Yeah, it's like that was a sign associated with John Lennon very much, and
that was 8 days before he was shot.
Yeah.
And look at that guy, like some hippie dude, Peter Max kind of thing almost, with the tears coming down. It's just weird. And that is from then, that night.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of John Lennon. I was thinking, God, I gave up rock and roll for this shit. And,
there's this sort of like dragon-like being here as well. It looks like a kind of dragon, or bat
kind of a dragon thing. I don't think
the Mothman or something.
Maybe the in-flight dinner came and I didn't finish it. Or
there's the nuclear explosion there. And
I was like a peacenik kind of guy carrying a gun for a little while,
Yeah, it's a kind of.
And now I'm not a peacenik guy wishing he could carry a gun.
Yeah, it's you support the Second Amendment, Larry. That's
I do.
But this image, I don't know what that is exactly there, but these pictures here are very interesting indeed because you have here this image down here looks a little bit bit like some of the images you see for Bentwaters. There's a flying saucer-like craft. It looks like that one looks like the one the guy photographed in New Zealand.
Well, I was trying to do a cross thing. I don't know what I was doing.
But it has like lights beaming down, you could say. Here's the image. You see, this is supposed to be band members, but it's like a cluster of people in the woods, and there's this strange triangular-shaped craft coming down. It could be interpreted that way.
Which I was referencing my band, because Sweet River Band is their SRB, and our last gig was at this amphitheater, and there's pines all around, and I was like, oh, what am I giving up? But look here, that looks like the triangle with the 2 circles, and I think they were like spotlights because they were above us. But that looks like Peniston's thing.
It does.
Sorry.
It looks very much like it.
I only noticed that recently.
Yeah. Except this was drawn a month before this happened.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. There's this. It looks like a rose.
28 days before my night.
Yeah, there's some numbers here: 0, 2, 4, 8, and there's this strange structure in the middle here. There's a strange one. Look, I don't know what to make of these structures in the middle. Don't know if you can see them. Which is a bit weird. There's like geometric shapes. But I mean, you can learn an awful lot from doodles, because doodles can reveal a lot of your.
And that's to me all that was. I didn't do it all the flight, but I mentioned that in my book, and I'm going to frame that.
Yeah.
This is security police training information, and from the base, because you see, I stole my records. I didn't create records at all. Any medical documents. People are going to fall on their asses soon, or they'll just get mad because they've been flattened. This is. When I stole my file, it was not just individual papers, even though the other side of this is missing after almost 40 years, but I stole a whole file out of what I was hand carrying, and this was what they were contained in. So everything I have, because the rest is classified and at the NSA, and we've known that forever. So the trolls and the things they do, they're just playing with your heads, man. But this is the file I grabbed, and though that's a certain number I don't want seen, and
so it's out of frame. It's a long way off.
And and it's just something. Date for commander evaluation 1 March '82, which I didn't last to there, but that's in a real file, There's my social security number's on it. I don't want that out.
No, don't.
And there's things that all this is getting. Let me tell you, if you want to mess with the witness, I'm the wrong guy that they ever did. Ever wrong guy. I'm the wrong guy because. Thank God I saved and stole some things, and because I was told to. And that's Air Force Form, May 76.
At some point, all these documents will be published, and you will see.
Yeah,
them
but without my
properly,
social security.
Obviously, we'll blank out any personal.
Then my
details,
passport got suspended because of doing what I do, and that's never happened to anyone ever since or before in the UFO subject, a witness, and it did happen to keep me from coming over here. And it took Ramsey Clark, and you kids wouldn't know who that is, but he was Attorney General of the United States of America under 3 presidents. He was Robert Kennedy's, he was John Kennedy's assistant Attorney General. He was Lyndon Johnson's #1 Attorney General for the whole country. He was the top lawyer in America. And under Nixon, a whole different kind of party, Republican, Nixon, he was that good, Nixon took him, but then he turned against the Vietnam War. This is my old buddy, my old pal Peter Robbins' letter to Ramsey Clark in 1994, and that letter is asking him to assist me in my efforts to get my passport back. And I met with Mr. Clark and Peter, and he put in some work and some phone calls, and I finally got my passport. Once you get someone that heavy involved, believe me, suddenly they said it was an error on their part. That's a thing that ufology, even back then, none of you internet kids' fault because you might not have been born, did nothing for me. It instead, you would think they went, wait, this is the first, this has never happened. You have a former U.S. Attorney General involved. Nothing. Because it's not really about the witnesses in ufology. It's about the ego trippers that like to blow their horns at conferences, and it's about them. And they feed off the witnesses and then move on to the next thing. You see, they have nothing invested in it, but they like to hear the sound of their voices, and that's it. And these are the, not all of them, they're good ones, but all too often there's too many. And so I say witnesses, the real ones, not the people that read communion and decide they're an abductee, because you're not. We recognize each other. We recognize. It's just instant. And it's a special club. And some people that purport to be in it are not. So I never needed bent waters at all. But let me tell you what, all this crap in the last couple of years, Ben, you and lots of other people defending me. I don't need defense. I'm not on trial. A lot of work's been put in that these people don't know. Not even a tenth of things that should have been in our book are even in it, because we were pressed for time. It was a different era. It was really just to get the events out. It wasn't supposed to be about me. You folks have made it about me, and well, I'm not good on a lot of things when it comes to my life. I'm better than you, and when it comes to me. And I know me better than you, because it's me, and I was the wrong guy to, play chess with on this. I think you might agree.
Don't you? Yeah, definitely.
On this,
Yeah.
they might not know it. I don't mean all of you bad, but some of you that are bad.
Some of you are watching. We know you are.
Yes, you're voyeurs, and you will definitely get more angry, and I hope you catch a light and just become, what do they call them, spontaneous combustions, where like if you have any loved ones, do you, they come in and they find like you're wearing those old lady shoes and pantyhose and you're semi-melted into your carpet, and they just said no.
Oh, we're gonna have to change the film chip, Larry.
No.
Okay, so now we've got a few more things we want to talk about. A couple of things we can show you, others we can't. But we're going to talk about what we've got here, and
so we've done that.
Yeah, we've done all about.
Tino and others have a lot of other stuff, but that's not for today.
It's for another time.
It's for
this is all going to be published.
The nuclear explosion that will be us. This is original stolen security police training. Me.
Can we show this?
Let me see what's on there. Yeah, no security numbers. That's special task certification, recurring training. And when you get to your new base, and they're all dated, obviously this is in England now, not Texas, after being kicked out of basic training.
So that's just one little thing that was in some of my documents.
Yep, it's all, it's yellow with age, and it's sort of thin and delicate because of its age.
Not my handwriting.
And there's, it's not Larry. You see, it's not Larry's handwriting. There's some signatures on there.
They don't know my. Even now, you don't know my handwriting.
But this is basically task or recurring training, study references, date completed, hours. It's basically just a record of the training that Larry's had, so that he could do his job. This is beyond basic. This one basic training.
No, that's on Bentwaters before
Yeah.
you can go on your flight.
Well, there you are. See, it's not shining your shoes.
Because
and
each
making
base
it-
had its own security, so tests, and so you had to just get familiar for 2 weeks, and then you go out
Yeah.
in your job.
Yeah. Basic training is basically just like a big long PE lesson at school. Really. I found it to be. Mostly just saying and you know looking after your
I know it was the
kids and
closest to
stuff.
being in prison you ever could. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
it was. But I went in at a different.
You just get
time.
yelled at and called, you know.
Yeah,
but-
they were
but
heavy. It
You
was
don't
heavy.
learn. This is all technical stuff he's learning here. This
And
is really technical
that's
stuff.
what does that say? I have my
Yeah.
glasses.
811.
No, AFSC,
Yeah.
and I'll say, let me put it out to the trolls. You tell me what AFSC is and what 81130 is. Tell me.
Do you know?
No. So you do that.
What is
that's
it? I
your
don't know.
test.
I don't know either.
Oh, I'll tell you anyway.
Alright.
AFSC is your Air Force. That's your job. That's the role you're under. 81130 is security specialist. See, there were two types of under the security police umbrella. There was security specialists, were combatants, and then you had law enforcement, which were like Lori Rayfelt and John Burroughs. They were the cop on the beat in the living area. Where
They used to round up the drunk squaddies and bring them home, basically.
well, no, they were that, and they were domestic things. Everything you imagine happened on those bases, and in the living where you were yesterday, where you met that old lady, that's where they would work, all in that area, and on both bases. They didn't hang out in our areas. They do the access gate, the entry gates to the runway, the flight line, where you went through, but they wouldn't be in our areas at all.
Yeah.
It was a very different thing. But no one, most people have never served. People that have served understand instantly. They look at all this. Colonel Holtz verified my military record in '93 in person when we met with him in Washington, D.C. So, keep rewriting, baby, because I'll always come back on you. And if I don't know something, I don't know. So many things have been flattened that, I couldn't have done it myself because, frankly, they try to hit you with bullshit from so many different angles, the tactic. And it happens in a lot of areas of life, you know that.
Yeah.
And but I have an army of very smart people around me, and that's really good. And when it comes to pictures, and with all kinds of things, and we're not going to go into any of that, but soon enough, it's cool, man. And it's a relief because I've done what I've done, and remember, I've been doing this 37 years. I've been on trial with it, so you're always. I've never been. One thing one of the trolls say, he hates ufology. She's right on that. I don't make bones. If you read my work in Left at Eastgate, which is my work, you know I'm not a ufology fan.
No.
The other person's view was, is trying to work with the ufology people. Now, there's great people that are well-known UFOologists. Is that what it's called?
Ufologists, yeah.
Is that it? You said it rolled off you so easy.
Oh,
to me, I choke on
You
that.
see, I suppose I am one of these people.
Yeah.
But, I do agree that...
But I like you.
I know, I'm different. He likes me.
Yeah.
As he said, there's some good people in it, and I like to think I'm one of them, and Larry thinks I'm one of them. But, I am, I suppose, part of that community, or that part of that group, that club.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
I
Well, you're
agree-
on the good end.
Oh yeah, I do agree with you that there is a lot to be criticised. There's a lot of bad
Always
practices
has
and
been.
unpleasant people within that
Always
community. Yes.
has been. I guess the Bigfoot folks are as wacky as that. But my thing is, with this, is that like when Bastins and I in March of '81, not the next morning, he sent a message for me to go talk to him. You know what's happened with Adrian? Suddenly forgotten who I am. But not to knock him, because I understand the pressures and all this. And I'm sure what he's been having his lovely years filled with. But at the end of the day, the UFO subject, I'm for witnesses. The majority of witnesses never go public or anything with their thing, and they shouldn't. I don't think people should at all.
It's
at all.
understandable. I know lots of witnesses.
People ask me, private message on Facebook, I don't know them in real life, and they say, you know, and they're genuine people, I've had this or that happen, what do you think I should do? And I said, live with it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who
Keep it yourself.
who
Live
said,
with it.
who've spoken out, and they spoke. You know, the skeptics say they're out to make my fame and fortune and money. But I asked them, I said, well, if you could go back in time to when you had it, what would you do? And they said, I'd keep my mouth shut and I wouldn't say a word to anyone.
Yeah. Well, the skeptics.
With retrospect, after what happened, I would never ever want anything to do with it.
Well, the problem with the skeptics,
Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Tina.
they're not near as bad as the community of the pro ufologists.
Yeah,
They're not
there is.
near it, man. I'm telling you, they're not. I have more regard for them, even though they're a bunch of twats, in my opinion. But there's nothing on that. With this, a lot of people aren't wrapped tight, man, in this. And the internet has made everyone try to reach for the stars and make a name for themselves by attaching to very famous events and people who have done things that they will never live 3 lifetimes to do or have the balls to do. I'm one of those guys. And that's not arrogance, it's the way it is. And you attack my book and all that, and that's my family and that's my friends. That's one chapter of a UFO Bentwaters thing. 2 chapters, maybe 3 on the thing, and then the rest, it's a big book, has to do with abuse of power. And a lot of my family and friends are in it. So when you have these washed up PR guys from the MOD, Nick Pope, going around, I don't want his endorsement anyway. I care less. Once Peter Robbins, my old buddy, my old pal, flattened him in deliberate deception, I could see why I wouldn't want to be associated, but it's been on the book. We don't control the old covers and all that, because it's a lot of work to actually remove things. But no one's taken my book out of print. Let me tell you, when I do it, that will be when my next and last one comes out. So I have 2 books to my name. I'm not an author. I don't want to be a writer, though I wrote everything in mine. I'm a much better writer than I was then now. And it will be mine, and it will be not a Bentwaters focused thing, but it will deal with a lot of psychology and all this, a lot of fun, a lot of real stuff, and there's more. That was an hour of my life. That was it.
So you're writing a book of your own now.
I've been doing it off and on for 10 years, but
when's it going to come out? Do you think? Or when will you finish it?
When I finish,
people ask me this all the time.
Before I'm 60. That's only 4 years. So I think.
I, as a fellow author, should know better than to ask that question of another author.
Well, I'd like, it's got to be a fun book, and I want it to be, it'll be self-published, obviously, because we came out in the days of real publishing on books. You had an
That's all
agent,
changed now.
you had an agent, you had that, and I would say do your own. I know nothing about that. Doing your self-publishing, so I will be coming to all you good guys, and if I I'll give them away, fine, but it will be a good record for my son. And it'll be an expansion on certain things, a lot of humor, and no, your names won't be in it, because that's all the bad people want. But the real enemy is within ufology, in the community. I'm from the days of Phil Klass and those kind of debunkers. I knew him,
yeah,
right? I knew Phil. And, the Travis Walton days. My thing only happened 5 years after Travis's. And,
Travis, he's been through the same mill. I mean, he's
I put out the call, I've done this on your show, and I've done it on video things, is that we all need to be polygraph examined, and we all do. And we need these production companies put their money into that. Wouldn't people want to see who passed the lie detector test? Wouldn't people want to see who accepted the invitation to do one? I know who would and who wouldn't. I think Nick Pope should too, because he stuck his beak right into all this for years, even to the point where people think he was working in the MOD as it happened, and is the whistleblower. I've read this. I've had me portrayed as Jim Peniston. Well, Larry, it's not all time travel, I said, I'm not the time travel guy. That's Jim Peniston.
Getting you mixed up,
Now, in 150 years, God knows, when you have the comic book Hansen wrote, he's got my name under Jim Peniston's picture, a young Larry Warren, this is what you go for, and this is why I stick around, because you're correcting. It's not defending. I don't care who believes me. I'm not in the believe me business, man. I'm not out. You're not my audience. You're not my thing. I wrote my book for my family and friends, really, first of all. And Peter came in and just basically took information that was on the record, this and that, and made his observations of it. That's it. My story I told. Peter Robbins no effect on what happened to me, because I didn't even know him then. I wouldn't know him again until 84 I met him, and then 87 I met him. And that's when we started working. I didn't hold a gun to his head. You want to ask me about Peter a little bit?
Yeah, because Peter, of course, Peter, of course, is your co-author.
He is, yeah.
But well, sadly, he seems to have changed his tune quite a bit lately.
Wow,
And I mean,
the violin broke, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, we still don't know exactly what's been going through his head, because we talked. If you go to Hapanmo Radio, go back to program 236 of Hapanmo Radio. I interview Larry and we talk about this. I'll just change the angle slightly on the camera there, so we can sit back a bit. There we are.
Look at these gangbangers outside.
Are they? Oh my god!
Okay.
I won't film them. But
Just kids.
We had like
Cookies?
oh my goodness. We have a UFO in front of the camera carrying a little chocolate biscuit. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Picky.
Cheers to you. No, cheers. But it's true, isn't it? I mean, Peter hasn't said a lot. I mean, he's supposed to be making some kind of statement, but we talked about this on the
He
radio
didn't
show.
say a lot. He sent a lot of private messages between him and me to a lot of people, and letters meant for me to a lot of people, but no, saying things, I haven't heard a lot. So, and again, like I did on Tino's show about Halt and the Hanson's cartoon book, Halt and Woodbridge, I basically, I defended Peter, because my reaction is to defend friends. But, that's who I am. I can't expect other people to have that sense of brotherhood, And, Peter and I aren't married. We haven't, it's like, back to Scotland, I threatened, what was that woman up there? What's her name?
Alison Dunlop.
That one. And, saying, Peter's saying, you threatened our dear, they were your biggest fans. I don't want fans, man. I didn't do this. If I wanted fans, I'd be cutting records. And, and I don't know these people, nothing, but you were banned up there. I was told by the way, I was told by that university on a phone call that I was not banned. They have security at every event. Then she puts out a letter, but then I find out she attends the University of Glasgow. So there was more to all that, but I never threatened her. I never, any of that. It was some random guy. Some woman said some guy planned to come and attack the speakers at the event. I don't know if they're into that in Scotland. And all I said is, if someone came and attacked the speakers, I had family coming to the event, I would come off the stage and put their windpipe into their spine?
Yeah.
Well, I was understating. And I would do it before security again. It wasn't a threat at anyone. It was a warning saying, believe me, I got everyone's back. I won't put up with it. Yeah. And it wasn't a threat, but everything gets twisted. And
it's a lawful use of force, self-defense.
Well, it doesn't matter. I do it I protect my friends and family with my life, and that's it. It wasn't at anyone. In fact, no one was named. It had nothing to do with, what's her name?
Alison.
No, the one in Liverpool.
Sasha.
That one, yeah, everyone knows her. And it had nothing to do with her at all. It was someone wacko in ufology made a threat. And, but Peter was real funny up there even before. Now, if I got there and they did that to him, the type of guy I am, I would say, well, thanks for flying me over, but I'm not going to be going on stage without my co-author. Because it's not correct. I've talked to him about this, instead of saying and going up and doing it. And I thank Gary Heseltine for actually going up and being my proxy. And that was really good. Yeah. And I don't think that went down well with what are they called? The FBI? The SPI?
SPI, yeah.
SPI sounds real fancy. And not saying everyone up there at that gig were bad. I only wanted to really go and see the Bigfoot lady.
Charmaine Fraser, yeah. She was very interesting, yeah.
Because I seen Bigfoot and I wanted to talk. I talked to her briefly as I brought, what's her name? The witch? With the black dress, with the box of alien things? Alien toys? Allison.
Allison.
I brought her to we picked her up and brought her to the event that I wasn't allowed in, even though I walked in the door and the security didn't know who the hell I was.
But it's like, yeah, I mean,
It's bullshit, man.
yeah, but if you look
I
at
worked
our,
in the licensed industry, man. We're drug test. No, yeah, I know how the security industry works, and they didn't know who they didn't have a picture of me going, "We will stop." They didn't know who I was.
we have I've done a video about this. It's the Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference. It's a year ago, and there's a link in the description box. You'll be able to watch that video where Larry's there and we talk about it. And Tino filmed an interview with you with Gary Heseltine, and
Yeah.
so you were there.
And I said I was in Australia, even though I was in Glasgow in a hotel, and people actually believed I was in Australia.
Yeah, we managed to book like satellite Skype links.
Past the napalm.
Yeah.
It was
But
like
some-
I was trying to riff those Academy Award things. I can't accept my award. But it was a miserable weekend, man. You know, because I had family that come up there, had booked hotels. And these people up there in Scotland, the two of them, the little Star Wars fella, who types tough, another type, don't
Oh,
mention
yeah,
his name.
who's,
Let's not say his name.
No, I won't say. Well, he's a guy who threatened me. So
He's about 4'2", and wears Star R2-D2 badges.
I'm shaking in my shoes
And
with terror.
looks at you very Mark David Chapman-esque, and makes me nervous when I've met him. These are people that like to get in pictures with you. You know, you meet them, and the thing is, I don't let people get on me like that if I don't know them, because people can portray like, oh, we're good buddies. They could use that in a million ways, or say he was molesting me in that picture. Not a chance, let me tell you. And I have pictures of all these people. And then they said I ignored them at the bar. None of that staff from that SBI bunch even came to see us, except very briefly. And I have to say my co-author only came to talk to me and my family when no one was around. I remember walking in that night, Gary, Tino, Dennis, my son, his mom, and Lynn, and we're all in there, and there's Pete back to us. Now I know wears hearing aids now. He knew we were there. Didn't even turn back, and I'm saying there's something more to this than, you know, me being. I shouldn't have been barred anyway, but you know.
We'll see what happens.
But
when-
that's ufology, and everyone likes to get off barring people and all that. Listen, I've spoken around the world. The day any of you do the National Press Club, the highest press attendance in its history. The day you go to Japan. I've spoken throughout Europe, Asia, Canada, and I've been doing it for a long time. I've done all of it. There's nothing new like I've got to go there at all. I don't even like doing conferences, except I like hanging with good people.
We'll see what happens when what Peter has to say for himself, because he's going to make him a statement soon, and obviously, whatever he says, we will form some kind of response.
Oh, he can. There will be a number of responses, and it's just a shame because I'm not knocking him because you know we go back 30 years.
I don't want to judge the man. I mean, I don't know.
I know the man better than any of you,
I don't even know what he's going to say yet.
but well, I don't either. You know, and it's just it's weird. But we have a history that goes back a long time and has not always been rosy. We got two egos and different people's trying to accomplish different things for themselves. And to include myself, mine was to get these events out. The whole reason, and to set the record right. Whitley Strieber is the one that told me to write a book. Long before he had Communion come out, I knew Whitley, and very well. And he said, write a book. So I you know, it's just the subject. I think it ruins good people. You know, I value the friends I have, but the biscuits.
But you know,
Heavily
I think you know
biscuits.
what we've done this weekend. You've seen what we've done. Well, this
We
is
weren't going to say
well, this
No.
is all part of the film.
the bikini thing
Oh no, we're not going to talk about that, Larry.
because it was cold too, and I was amazed how brave you were.
We're not going to talk about that.
Some of the
I didn't
poses
film that
you were
bit.
able to do were.
Unless Tino's filmed it secretly and he's going to blackmail me with it.
No, I felt a little bit like Roman Polanski with you, you know. Sharon, never drank. No, I shouldn't have. That was bad. I'm not even. You're too young to know I was referencing. But then, you know, there's something with the outdoors and nature and freedom with you. I'm going to say I was surprised. There's a lot more to Benny than you know.
No, yeah.
A lot more.
You're never going to know, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank God, not many. Well, there's not much we can say publicly, can we?
Well, there's going to be more
Without going to prison. I'm sure this law is broken somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
So we had a good weekend, though. It was very productive, and in a couple billion ways. And there was some laughs and fun and mirth
check
and
out,
mayhem.
yeah, we should say, check out.
This is the
Tino's
worst
thing,
shit
right?
interview you've ever heard.
No, honestly, Tino's done, well, Tino filmed it, and it's going to be on his channel. But we've made like a, well, we can't tell you. All right, we can't say anything right now, but it's going to be a little bit of maybe a little addendum or a little bit of extra to this, which you'll find amusing, I think. Okay, but
I think it'll be the most popular thing I've ever been.
All right, but what we've done
Involved
is,
with.
yeah, I'll put a link up on a Panmo Voice when it comes out. But basically, we're going to now, basically this weekend, I think we have. I hope this will go down as a point of reference. I hope this film, will go down as a point of reference, a single point of reference, because I think we covered everything, along with my articles. I'll put links to my articles. I'll put links to the radio shows that we've done, which basically conclusively discredits the critics that Larry has.
They're not
the criticism that, what if you call them
They're
that?
not critics,
Yeah,
man.
that
They're
Larry,
just character assassinators, man.
yeah.
You English are so polite. You
Oh, well,
really
we
are.
like the understatements.
You are
old
polite.
boy.
Understatement.
We like understatements, old boy.
You know, I'm known for that.
Yeah, but you know, if you're American, you could think of plenty of other words, I'm sure. But basically, we've basically discredited them, we've debunked them, we have diffused and completely and utterly neutralised their case. And it's not quite the end of the story, but this is the beginning of the end of the story. I think. I would say that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
So it's not arrogance on my part. It's relief, really, that enough's enough.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't be typing at people. The internet is not my forte. You know, and there'll be a lot. Well, I don't know. There's so much sugar in these biscuits. I'm stoned.
It goes to your head, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does.
It goes to your head, yeah. Extra insulin we need.
So anyway, for you, folks out there, may you spontaneously combust with joy and glee, and I am going to go get some water, Ben. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Larry.
Meeting you, and I hope
it's an honor.
the G string is found by someone, because you seem to be pretty attached to it.
Everyone's going to go looking for it now.
Well,
but thank you very much, Larry. It's been
flaming
great.
hot pink. I mean, who could miss it where we were? Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you very much, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a good little video we've made here. Well, I'm home now. That's unbelievable what I've just done this weekend. I've only been away just over 48 hours, but it feels like a week. It's been absolutely incredible. Listening to Larry, him taking us where he used to go, really should leave nobody in any doubt that he is the principal witness. And the very fact that he has all this evidence as well, it's indisputable. And so hopefully this will be appreciated by everybody, and all the nonsense that's been happening in this area of research will soon be finished. It'll be gone. And it's been an amazing couple of days in terms of the synchronicity as well. We discussed Yvonne, the old lady we saw, but I forgot to mention also, on Friday afternoon when I arrived at Bedford and I was waiting for Tino to pick me up, he came. It takes about a half-hour drive to Bedford coach station from where he lives. I bumped into a man known online as Dockwatch, who is a friend of mine who regularly appears in the Hapanmo radio comments box, and I've emailed him a couple of times and things like that. And it's just incredible that he happened just to be there. I mean, what's the chances of him just bumping into me just like that at Bedford coach station? He doesn't even live in the area like I don't. I find that one of these things that Carl Jung would call synchronicity, and I think he's right. This is, of course, inevitably, this is not the end of the story. There will be more, no doubt. I hear the sound of angry fingers clattering on keyboards as I speak. And there will be updates, possibly on Hapanmo TV, maybe on Hapanmo Voice. But I don't think it matters anymore, because the facts are indisputable. Once the facts become indisputable, I mean, despite my misgivings in the past and some of the laments that I've had on this particular YouTube channel, they do win out. It may take a long time, but they get there in the end. So, thank you for watching Hapanwo TV. Hope you've enjoyed this one as much as I have. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, stop the New World Order.